Chapter 1201 Yi Lui Kyun Xing. Sun was shining bright in the sky of northern plains, with no clouds to be seen in the surroundings. However, at Blood Plain, starlight shone brilliantly, as if stars filled the sky. Golden Dawn Hall was quietly floating in the air, it stood majestically, no matter how much turbulence was going on outside, it remained lofty and unmoved. In contrast, the GU immortals on Chudu's side were all standing on clouds, their expressions looking unsightly or filled with worries. Chudu was expressionless, but his gaze that looked at the battle was extremely heavy. Immortal Wang is going to lose. Chudu sighed internally. In the center of the battlefield, Immortal Wang was fighting with the righteous path GU Immortal Yi Lui Kyun Xing. Immortal Wang had already transformed into a heaven-swallowing hound, charging left and right with astonishing might. The heaven-swallowing hound was an immemorial desolate beast, but Immortal Wang was only a rank 7 GU Immortal. This transformation path Immortal killer move also did not have a relevant rank 8 Immortal GU in it. So, this heaven-swallowing hound's battle strength was only at rank 7 level. And Immortal Wang's opponent, Yi Lui Kyun Xing, was tall and thin like a bamboo pole. He had 3 strands of hair as a beard and had a yellowish-white complexion. Right now, he was far away from the heaven-swallowing hound, hundreds of star fragments were flying around him, shining with brilliant light, dyeing the sky a color of blue. Immortal Wang's heaven-swallowing hound transformation used all its strength to attack. However, countless star fragments, big and small, tightly surrounded him. Of these star fragments, small ones were the size of a lantern, while the big ones were the size of an elephant. They kept on flying around, a small portion were encircling Immortal Wang with dizzying speed, while the larger portion were encircling Yi Lui Kyun Xing, moving slowly in a mysterious trajectory. Plop! A muffled sound echoed, a star fragment firmly collided against Immortal Wang's body. The heaven-swallowing hound's movement slowed, and exposed a flaw when it tried to dodge. Boom boom boom. 3 muffled sounds resounded as this opportunity was taken, star fragments collided against Immortal Wang fiercely. The heaven-swallowing hound let out a low growl, coughing out a large amount of blood, its feet staggered and almost fell down to the ground. Any GU Immortal with eyes could see who was in control of the situation. Immortal Wang was the one attacking, but was in an absolute disadvantage from start to finish. And the defending Yi Lui Kyun Xing was the one who held the upper hand, putting himself behind layers of defense. This battle tactic was naturally a correct one. One often had to choose long-range battle when dealing with transformation path GU Immortals. Because the GU Immortal that transformed into Desolate Beast, Ancient Desolate Beast or even Immemorial Desolate Beast, would have a strong and sturdy body, just relying on their transformed body's quality, their battle strength would increase to a terrifying level. GU Immortals of other paths mostly had human bodies. Their physical qualities were weak, even if they had powerful defensive methods, they did not want to put themselves in such a dangerous situation where they were fighting with their weakness against a transformation path GU Immortal's strength. The dominance was already clear, Yi Lui Kyun Xing was in an impregnable position. He spoke in a clear voice. It is useless, Immortal Wang. My immortal killer move was created by taking Dongfang Chongfan's myriad star fireflies as a reference. The flying trajectory is extremely profound and inscrutable. Previously, 6 star fragments could completely obstruct you. Now, there are at least 36 star fragments around you, how will you break through? This Yi Lui Kyun Xing was also a person with an interesting past. He had challenged Dongfang Chongfan, and had suffered defeat after defeat, but had still persisted in challenging him. Dongfang Chongfan was a righteous path figure, the #1 wisdom path GU Immortal of Northern Plains who had single-handedly led Dongfang tribe to prominence. Yi Lui Kyun Xing's defeats did not make Northern Plains GU Immortals feel he was weak. Instead, they very much appreciated him fighting back despite the repeated setbacks, and his steady, unwavering spirit. As one of the leading figures of the righteous path, Dongfang Chongfan could not lay a heavy hand on Yi Lui Kyun Xing, who was similarly of Huangjin bloodline. There was even one time when after he defeated Yi Lui Kyun Xing, he personally instructed him regarding some secrets of myriad star fireflies. Yi Lui Kyun Xing treated the guidance as a precious treasure, immediately going into closed cultivation. Unknown to him, this was precisely Dongfang Chongfan's scheme. Dongfang Chongfan had not only gotten rid of the annoying Yi Lui Kyun Xing, this also expressed his goodwill to Yi Lui tribe, and had smoothly accomplished an instance of collaboration with Yi Lui tribe, gaining large amounts of benefits. Yi Lui Kyun Xing had originally felt that Dongfang Chongfan was a thorn in his eyes, but having obtained benefits from Dongfang Chongfan, he did not feel he could shamelessly challenge Dongfang Chongfan again. After coming out of his closed cultivation, he chose to focus hard on his own development and did not even find trouble with other GU immortals of Dongfang tribe. As such, this trump card killer move of his clearly bore resemblance to Myriad Star Fireflies. Myriad Star Fireflies was Dongfang Chongfan's killer move, which was famous throughout the whole of Northern Plains GU immortal world. Yi Lui Qunxing's move, however, treated the star fragments as the main body. It could be considered as him creating his own unique method. A real star was extremely huge. Fang Yuan had been using Star Eye's Immortal GU up until now, and had only managed to refine one star. Immortal Wang's heaven-swallowing hound transformation kept on coughing up blood, and was struck by more and more star fragments. He could not even retort, he was dizzy and was heavily injured. Moreover, his immortal essence expenditure had reached an enormous amount. The immortals on Chu Du's side showed even more unsightly looks. If Immortal Wang is defeated, he would be the fourth person Yi Lui Qunxing has defeated from our side. His immortal killer move is truly too powerful. When it was just 2 or 3 star fragments, they can still be resisted. When 15 star fragments appear and they work together as one, the difficulty to resist them increases by countless times. Right now, he already has 100 star fragments, achieving complete dominance. This simply cannot be resisted. Inside Golden Dawn Hall, the Righteous Path Immortals had smiles on their faces. Yi Lui Xiaojin was watching the battle with excitement. Yi Lui Qunxing was his senior. Seeing this senior about to defeat his fourth opponent, Yi Lui Xiaojin also felt excitement and pride. On the other side, Nian Pingji was still regulating his breathing. One thing worth mentioning was that Nian tribe's position had already moved to the center. This was because of Nian Pingji's battle where he had killed the rank 7 demonic path expert Granny Yin. Many rank 6 geniuses and experts had the battle strength to go against rank 7. But being able to kill rank 7 was a different level altogether. Adding Nian Pingji's young age to this battle achievement, this undoubtedly became even more rare. By this time, the allied Righteous Path forces, and the alliance of Chu Sect and Bai Zhu, had already gone through over 10 battles. At the start, Chu Du had the discerning eye to send out the promising young Shui Wuhen, who won 3 battles in a row, awing others. Then, from the Righteous Path side, Gong Wanting sent Nian Pingji. Similarly, a rising young genius, Nian Pingji's battle result was even more brilliant, using the immortal killer move Sword Heart Clarity and killing the renowned demonic path expert Granny Yin. Afterwards, Gong Wanting negotiated with Chu Du, and the two sides temporarily stopped the battle, setting rules regarding exchange of corpses. Then the battle began again. Yuan tribe of the Righteous Path, Meng tribe, and other tribes GU immortals appeared one after the other, while Chu Du sent out Hao Zhen, Chou Lao Wu as well as some GU immortals of Bai Zhu tribe to contest with them. Perhaps it was because they were senior GU immortals, each side had their own victories and defeats, and suffered varying degrees of injuries, but there were no deaths. Seeing the situation seemingly entering a stalemate, Gong Wanting pondered for a while before sending Yi Lui Qunxing. This person was a true main strength among Yi Lui tribe's force. He was an expert among rank 7 GU immortals. Although he had many losses among his battle achievements, they were against Dongfang Chongfan. Naturally, no one would look down on him. What made people especially admire him were his character and spirit. He had suffered many defeats from Dongfang Chongfan, but he always came back stronger. Worth mentioning was that Yi Lui Wei Hong had the highest seniority, but his battle strength could not compare to Yi Lui Qunxing. The Righteous Path paid attention to seniority, unlike the demonic path which only looked at strength. Finally, Chu Du spoke. "All right, this battle is our loss." Immortal Wang retreated with a shameful expression. Yi Lui Qunxing also did not forcibly go after his life. After all, Immortal Wang still had the ability to protect himself and it would give enough time for Chu Du to come help. Immortal Wang was pale, his mood extremely complicated. He was the fourth opponent of Yi Lui Qunxing and had originally thought of having gotten an easy opportunity, but the result was that Yi Lui Qunxing's battle strength had not fallen even after 3 battles. Immortal Wang returned to his human form and walked towards Chu Du, saying in a heavy voice, that Yi Lui Qunxing's immortal killer move is extremely ingenious. His immortal essence expenditure is definitely small, and the star fragments have mutual attraction force between them, creating a good deal of starlight magnetic force. I am afraid it would not be easy to discern the mysteries of this killer move unless one is a star path GU immortal. The opponent would be implicated by these star fragments. These star fragments are very fast and sometimes they would suddenly form a formless force which skewed my direction, making me lose control over myself many times. Now that I think of it, Yi Lui Qunxing was weakest in the first battle. Now, He has already released 100 star fragments, forming an array for battle. The ones who will go later will lose many advantages, and would find it very difficult to go against this array. Immortal Wang's tone was sincere. These were his sincere words. They were also reasons given to excuse himself and not be held at fault. Chu Du nodded and patted Immortal Wang's shoulder. No need to say much, it is good that you returned safely. It was a simple action, but this action almost made Immortal Wang's eyes tear up. Who wants to come fight next? At this time, Yi Lui Qunxing called out. It seems this person still does not want to retreat and wants to fight his fifth battle. Chu Du's expression slightly changed, killing intent flashing in his eyes. The immortals behind him started whispering. He has already defeated 4 people in a row, he still seems to have strength remaining. Immortal Wang's strength is outstanding, he transformed into a heaven-swallowing hound but was still unable to win, sigh. Bai Zhu tribe's GU immortals were silent. Bai Zhu Wei was already dead, what they were good at was not individual battle strength, but Green City Rampage. Hao Zhen and Chou Lao Wu's Wind Thunder Roar was renowned throughout Northern Plains, it could be considered a trump card that could pressure the opponents and make them feel apprehensive. It was only that they had already battled separately and still bore some injuries. When GU immortals were injured, because of the conflict of Dao marks, they were very difficult to heal. For a moment, Chu Du actually found that he had fallen into an awkward situation of having no experts to send. Comparatively, in the righteous path, experts filled Golden Dawn Hall, while Chu Du's side was only an alliance of the newly established Bai Zhu tribe and his sect, they indeed had few members and were seriously stretched out. Chapter 1202. Arrogance concealed under beauty. Do I have to go myself? Facing the awkward situation of having no experts to send, Chu Du unavoidably had such a thought. He could naturally take the stage and also had the confidence to win against Yi Lui Qunxing. But what would it look like when Chu Du, as the strongest expert on his side, took the stage? Would it not make their side look weaker? Moreover, even after he wins against Yi Lui Qunxing, the other side would definitely continue to send other GU immortals. Gong Wan Ting, Yao tribes Yao Yuan Ying, Guan tribes Guan Yang, Nu tribes Nu Gu and Nu Qian, all of these people were experts who Chu Du needed to pay attention to. 2 fists cannot rival 4 palms. Chu Du could win 1 battle, 2 battles, 3 battles, but could he guarantee he would win all the battles? Chu Du fell into silence. What? No one wants to fight. We have just reached this stage and there is already nobody left. Yi Lui Qunxing did not let go of this chance to mock them. Shui Wuhen could not endure this provocation, he was a very prideful person. He requested to be sent by Chu Du, let me go deal with this Yi Lui Qunxing. However, Shui Wuhen was only at rank 6, how could Chu Du let him go? Shui Wuhen might be able to battle rank 7, but the other party was an expert among rank 7s. Chu Du slowly shook his head. Right at this moment, his eyes suddenly brightened, because an information path GU worm flew to his immortal aperture through treasure yellow heaven. Wonderful, Elder Lu Guanyi's timing is perfect. Chu Du sent his consciousness into the GU worm and after absorbing the information, his brows immediately relaxed. He had confidence in Lu Guanyi. He had always thought Fang Yuan's strength was only second to his in Chu sect. Especially when they made the trip to Crazed Demon Cave, Fang Yuan's performance had left a deep impression on Chu Du. Be patient, my Chu sect's second supreme elder is about to arrive. Yi Lui Qunxing, why are you in such a rush? Enjoy your moment of victory for a while longer. Chu Du chuckled as he said in a plain tone. Chu sect's second supreme elder. Chu Du is the first supreme elder, doesn't it mean this second supreme elder is only second to him? This person is very mysterious, no one knows where he comes from, and we have very limited information on him. Both sides GU immortals discussed. The Righteous Path GU immortals in Golden Dawn Hall started discussing and exchanging information on Fang Yuan. Think about that Shui Wuhen, what is strange about them having Lu Guanyi? Nian Yi Fang caressed his beard, speaking unconcernedly. So what if he is stronger? At most, he would have rank 7 peak battle strength, our side is a gathering of experts and geniuses. Yi Lui Wei Hong laughed. Gong Wanting spoke softly, her voice lingering around the whole of Golden Dawn Hall. Chu Du is not blind, this person is placed above Hao Zhen and Chou Lao Wu. He is Chu sect's second supreme elder, we should assume that he possesses an outstanding aspect. Shui Wuhen's eyes brightened, having many expectations regarding Fang Yuan. Elder Hao Zhen, how is Elder Lu Guanyi's strength? One He tribe GU immortal asked. Naturally, this He tribe GU immortal had now already changed his surname to Bai Zhu. He had not participated in the Battle of Iron Eagle Blessed Land, and it was not appropriate for him to ask Baizu tribe's GU immortals. Baizu Wei had died in the battle, and this had become almost like a taboo topic in Baizu tribe. How Zhen and Cho Lao Wu were respectively Chu sect's 3rd and 4th supreme elder. Actually, they were uncomfortable at being underneath Fang Yuan, but right now, they could not damage their own sect's reputation. He claims to be a transformation path GU immortal. But we have never seen him use any transformation killer moves. Even in Heifan Grotto Heaven, when we resisted the attacks of Heavenly Lord, it was like that. The surrounding GU immortals could not help but draw in deep breaths. The words of Hao Zhen and Cho Lao Wu made people unavoidably think towards one aspect. It seems this elder Lu Guanyi is quite amazing. Even the invasion of Heavenly Lord Baizu did not make him use all his strength. This was the person who first intruded Iron Eagle Blessed Land and seized almost all the eagle nests. A GU immortal of Baizu bloodline was feeling complicated at this moment. He has arrived. Chu Du suddenly spoke. The immortals behind him followed Chu Du's movement and turned around, looking behind them. Inside Golden Dawn Hall, the Righteous Path immortals also cast their gazes over. A multicolored cloud was flying rapidly, upon which a young-looking GU immortal stood at the front with his head held high. He wore a white robe, the wide sleeves constantly fluttered backwards due to the wind. He had long black hair and a jade-like complexion, with sharp eyebrows and bright eyes, his nose bridge was tall, and his skin was white like snow. He had a light smile on his face, appearing relaxed and unfettered, and was extremely handsome. Even a man would be moved by his appearance. Just one glance at Fang Yuan left a deep impression on these immortals. Elder Lu, you have finally come. Chu Du smiled brightly, flying over to welcome him. Domination Immortal Chu Du personally went to receive him. Seeing this scene, many GU immortals were shaken. Instantly, Fang Yuan's status had risen by multiple levels in their hearts. What are the origins of this Lu Guanyi? What has he done to deserve such treatment from Domination Immortal? The Righteous Path GU immortals looked at each other, as they started to pay more importance to Fang Yuan's arrival. This Information Path GU worm records the battle scenes from earlier, look at it quickly. Chu Du flew in front of Fang Yuan, and secretly handed an Information Path Mortal GU to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan silently accepted it. Chu Du treated him as an equal. After the crazed demon agreement, Chu Du's and Fang Yuan's relationship had become much closer. The group of immortals subconsciously went silent, patiently watching Fang Yuan slowly fly towards the battle. This person is Yi Lui Qunxing. He primarily cultivates Star Path. He has already defeated 4 people on our side. We need you to show your might and defeat him. Chu Du spoke softly to Fang Yuan as he pointed at Yi Lui Qunxing, who was standing proudly in the air. Fang Yuan inwardly thought, I came over because of this person. A Star Path blessed land is suitable for me to annex. Moreover, this guy has rank 7 cultivation. After I annex his immortal aperture, my cultivation will immediately soar and reach rank 7. I will start producing red data mortal essence. Yi Lui Qunxing was tense. Ever since Fang Yuan had appeared, he had been paying close attention to him. Fang Yuan's gaze was tranquil, he could not read his expression at all. After some thinking, Yi Lui Qunxing solemnly spoke, I am honored. The immortals quietly looked at Fang Yuan, awaiting him entering the battle. Fang Yuan, however, internally was shaking his head. He had already read all the information in the Information Path GU worm Chu Du had given him, and knew all the moves Yi Lui Qunxing had shown before. Fang Yuan had a clear estimation of Yi Lui Qunxing's strength. He was probably at the level of experts like Unfettered Scholar and Pai Shui Han, or maybe slightly weaker. All in all, he was an expert among rank 7s. Above them would be people like Domination Immortal Chu Du and Immortal Monkey King Shi Lei. And above Chu Du were Feng Zhuzhe and Qin Bai Sheng after regaining his memories. It was fully achievable for him to defeat Yi Lui Qunxing with Ancient Sword Dragon transformation. But killing him would be difficult with a frontal assault. Especially under the view of the crowd and their watchful eyes, everyone was on guard against each other. Let alone when the opponent was Yi Lui Qunxing. The most important thing regarding this person was this immortal killer move. Not only did it expend little immortal essence, it also had terrifying offensive and defensive properties. Even more praiseworthy was his mental state and nature. Losses could not defeat him and could only make him stronger. If this kind of person was the enemy, the best thing was to kill them. Even Dongfang Chongfan felt a headache because he could not kill him. But how to kill him? Fang Yuan estimated he did not have a high chance of killing Yi Lui Qunxing. After transforming into an ancient sword dragon, Fang Yuan's battle strength would reach the level of unfettered scholar. However, Fang Yuan's ability to sustain a long battle was quite poor. After all, green grape immortal essence could not compare to red date immortal essence. 100 beads of green grape immortal essence could turn into 1 bead of red date immortal essence. But when using rank 7 immortal GU, the effect that could be reached with 1 bead of red date immortal essence required at least 130 beads of green grape immortal essence. This created a phenomenon of intensifying expenditure. GU immortals using higher rank immortal GU were like children waving around a sledgehammer. It was very difficult. As he pondered this, Fang Yuan spoke, "I won't fight." The immortals were stunned. "Why won't you fight? Are you afraid?" Immortal Wang's sneering voice came from behind. Ever since the Iron Eagle Blessed Lands battle where Fang Yuan had treated him as a scapegoat, Immortal Wang had felt hatred towards Fang Yuan. The expectant gazes of immortals at Fang Yuan made Immortal Wang very dissatisfied. He, himself, was defeated by Yi Lui Qunxing, and the person whom everyone's expectations were placed on was his enemy. Such a feeling left a really bad taste in his mouth. Fang Yuan did not respond. Chu Du, however, immediately frowned, as he turned back and gave a fierce glare at Immortal Wang. Immortal Wang quickly closed his mouth, beads of cold sweat starting to seep out of his forehead. Chu Du inwardly shook his head. Immortal Wang and these other GU immortals were all lone immortals or demonic cultivators. They are accustomed to being unrestrained. After joining Chu sect, their awareness has not increased much. Right now, even if he has some dissatisfaction with Lu Guanyi, how could he reveal the internal conflicts of Chu sect in front of the public? At the same time, Chu Du looked at Fang Yuan. He did not speak but his gaze inquired, "Why won't you fight?" Fang Yuan gazed at Yi Lui Qunxing, sneering, "He is too weak, I can kill him with just my spit. Do we kill chickens with an ox cleaver? Fighting him is an insult towards my status. Arrogant, way too arrogant." For a moment, the stomachs of the immortals churned, as all kinds of thoughts surged in their minds. Fang Yuan looked like a quiet handsome boy. Who could have thought his first few words would reveal the astonishing arrogance within him? He actually said he can win against an expert like Yi Lui Qunxing with just his spit. Even domination immortal Chu Du might not be able to do it. Nian Pingji was displeased. He is tooting his own horn too much. Shui Wuhen looked at Fang Yuan with a dazed look. He had always thought he was a very prideful person, but he could not compare to this person before him. Fang Yuan spouted a lot of nonsense right away. His arrogance caused many people to be dissatisfied. The most dissatisfied person was Yi Lui Xiaojin. He was young and full of vigor. Yi Lui Qunxing was his tribe member. Humiliating Yi Lui Qunxing was like humiliating him. Therefore, this young GU immortal immediately stood up and shouted loudly, "You don't dare to show your skills, but you have quite the mouth. How can you estimate the skills of my tribe's Lord Qunxing? You are not being proud, but are intentionally saying this because you are afraid." Chapter 1203, Shameless. I don't know if you are afraid or not, but we can all see whether you dare or not. A Baizu tribe GU immortal sneered. He had pure Baizu bloodline, behind him was Heavenly Lord Baizu, even Chu Du did not have a sway over him. Fang Yuan lightly glanced at this person, the latter looked back without any fear. Clearly, Fang Yuan stealing the eagle nests had caused the hatred with Baizu tribe to be big. Fang Yuan swept his gaze around, the GU immortals all gazed back at him with doubts, curiosity, uncertainty, anticipation and so on. Especially, Shui Wuhen who was beside him, his gaze was shining. Not fighting. What kind of person am I? This weakling. Hee, not worthy of me making a move. In the future, when my biography is written, my first battle after seclusion is against Heavenly Lord Baizu, but the second battle is with this thing. There won't be any splendor even if I win against such a minor character of Yi Lui tribe. No matter how open-minded Yi Lui Qunxing was, his tone unavoidably had become colder from anger. HMPH, so much nonsense. You have said so much, come fight me if you have guts. You don't have enough qualifications. Fang Yuan held his hands behind his back, head raised and chest out, as he looked at Yi Lui Qunxing with unconcealed contempt. Many GU immortals' eyes widened. They really wanted to ask. Yi Lui Qunxing actually doesn't have enough qualifications, then who has the qualifications? What qualifications do you have? I really don't understand where you are getting such confidence from. You are clearly a demonic path lone cultivator, who knows where you came from? Yi Lui Qunxing fighting you is giving you face, giving you the chance to perform and gain some glory. But the person involved, Fang Yuan, clearly did not have such a thought. The immortals began discussing, the situation had become noisy from the clamor. They were all talking about Fang Yuan, but Fang Yuan turned a deaf ear to their words. After a while, Gong Wanting's expression turned cold, lightly calling out, "Enough, do you all want to make the Grand Blood Battle Martial competition into a joke?" The Righteous Path Immortals immediately turned silent. Gong Wanting then looked at Chu Du. "Could it be that your side only has troublemakers remaining? Stalling for so long will only make others ridicule you." Facing the overbearing Gong Wanting, Chu Du did not reply, instead looking at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan ignored Chu Du's gaze and slightly turned towards the side, pointing backwards. "You. Me, a former Supreme Elder of He tribe, currently a Bai Zhu tribe Gu Immortal, was completely stumped, not having expected Fang Yuan to suddenly point towards him. Go take the fight. If he can win against you, it means he has some qualifications for me to make a move once." Fang Yuan's tone was still very arrogant, even his own side's Gu Immortals felt their teeth itch from hearing him. The Immortals' gazes turned towards this unlucky person. This Gu Immortal immediately felt huge pressure. His anger was boiling. Who did I provoke to suddenly send me to battle? Moreover, why the hell are you commanding me? I am a Bai Zhu tribe Gu Immortal, even Domination Immortal Chu Du can only discuss with me. How can you, a mere second Supreme Elder, command me? This Gu Immortal had decided to refuse. But then he heard the discussions of other Immortals. For instance, Yi Lui Qunxing is so strong, he has already defeated 4 people in a row. Now, letting this person fight, isn't it letting the enemy gain more battle achievements? HMPH, this person is only a minor character, Yi Lui Qunxing can easily beat 2 of this guy. He is a He tribe Gu Immortal, although his surname has changed to Bai Zhu, can he really fight to the death with a Huangjin bloodline Gu Immortal? Wow, when these discussions resounded in this Gu Immortal's ears, he immediately realized that he had no choice but to go to battle. He fiercely glared at Fang Yuan. Unfortunately, Fang Yuan had already turned around, facing him with his back. The Bai Zhu tribe Gu Immortal was furious and aggrieved, but could only give in and fly to the stage. There was nothing unusual about the battle. This Gu Immortal was clearly weaker than Yi Lui Qunxing. After exchanging 10 or so moves, he lost. I hope Elder Lu Guanyi can fight now and enlighten us. This Bai Zhu Gu Immortal carried his injuries back, and his first words were to sarcastically speak to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan snorted. You are too weak. The Bai Zhu Gu Immortal suppressed his anger. I am indeed too weak, Elder should show his divine prowess. Fang Yuan's following words almost made him flare up. Taking so long to fight with a weakling like you. I have to admit I had overestimated that Yi Lui Qunxing. Now, I have no interest to battle with him at all. You, the Bai Zhu Gu Immortal was stifled to the point of being speechless. The Immortal's gaze towards Fang Yuan were also vaguely changing. Shui Wuhen's expression was even more blatant, he sized up Fang Yuan with intense suspicion. So it was like this. The so-called Chu sect's second Supreme Elder is just a poser. Yi Lui Qunxing scoffed. His scoff felt piercing to Chu Du's side's Gu Immortals. Lord Domination Immortal, have you ever seen him make a move? Yi Lui Xiaojin also added. Chu Du was silent, he had sensed Fang Yuan's strange behavior but decided to wait and watch. Elder Lu Guanyi, if you truly have skills, go kill him. That Gu Immortal of Bai Zhu tribe sneered. Fang Yuan lightly shook his head, boasting shamelessly, how can you comprehend my power? That's why you will never have the hope of becoming an expert like me. Yi Lui Qunxing flicked his sleeves and walked away. He knew Fang Yuan could not be forced to fight. In truth, after fighting 5 people in a row, he was indeed feeling exhaustion. His immortal essence expenditure was still good, the main thing was that his mind had been taxed a lot. Seeing him retrieve the star fragments and leave, many on Chu Du's side let out a sigh of relief. Yi Lui Xiaojin was also extremely happy, as he raised his head high and ran to the entrance of Golden Dawn Hall to welcome Yi Lui Qunxing. How could they have known Fang Yuan to speak? Look, he is indeed afraid of me, even if I didn't enter the battle, he has been feeling frightened, now he is unable to maintain his cool any longer, having no choice but to leave. Yi Lui Qunxing's steps slightly paused. Shui Wuhen's eyes widened, as he gazed at Fang Yuan and thought, there is actually such a shameless person in this world. It has really opened my eyes. Brother Chu actually gave this person the status of second Supreme Elder, perhaps his judgment has dulled. Yi Lui Xiaojin's mouth almost twisted from anger. On the contrary, Yi Lui Weihong's expression slightly changed, he squinted his eyes and started looking at Fang Yuan. Yi Lui Qunxing shook his head, continuing to leave without even glancing at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan laughed loudly. Yi Lui Kyun Xing, FCK your 18 generations of ancestors. The whole scene was silent, before they suddenly burst into an uproar. Where is your disposition? Where is it? The GU Immortals screamed internally. Who could have thought the elegant-looking Fang Yuan would swear out loud in public? Even if they were fighting for their lives, GU Immortals always maintained their disposition. After all, they all praised themselves as being righteous. Cursing like this in front of everyone was really letting go of one's reputation. His good looks are wasted. A GU Immortal gazed at Fang Yuan, shaking their head constantly. No doubt, the favorable impression Fang Yuan gave to the Immortals at first glance was already ruined. Fang Yuan laughed sinisterly, suddenly walking to the battle stage. Yi Lui whatever, I am here, didn't you want to fight with me? Yi Lui Kyun Xing stopped and gazed back. The atmosphere of the whole scene changed. Inside Golden Dawn Hall, Yi Lui Wei Hong was sitting upright, his expression solemn. Kyun Xing, careful, this person is doing something underhanded. Come back. Fang Yuan's earlier and later attitude made Yi Lui Wei Hong realize that something was fishy. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. Gutless rat, Yi Lui tribe is made up of cowards, you are a bunch of bastards. All kinds of derogatory terms were thrown out one after the other. The Immortals were stupefied as they listened. Chu Du wanted to cover his face. Fang Yuan did not have even a bit of elegance, he was destroying the image of Chu sect. A piece of rat poop spoils an entire pot of soup. It was the first time Chu Du reconsidered on his decision to draw in Fang Yuan, was it correct? But no matter what anyone said, Fang Yuan's provocation was effective. The righteous path was easier to deal with than demonic path and lone cultivators in certain aspects. Especially when the question was about reputation. When it involved the tribe and bloodline, even if one did not care on the inside and was willing to ignore the other's cursing, in front of the public, with so many outsiders watching fixedly, it became another situation. The super forces which were held together by bloodline and blood relations protected and attached great importance to the reputations of their ancestors. This was their basic moral philosophy. Kyun Xing, come back. I will personally face the skills of this Chu sect's second supreme elder. Yi Lui Wei Hong stood up. Fang Yuan unavoidably felt disappointed inwardly, but laughed on the surface. Yi Lui Kyun Xing, it's time to scram. Yi Lui Kyun Xing waved his hand at Yi Lui Wei Hong, smiling at Fang Yuan, revealing his white teeth. Since it is so hard to find a chance for you to fight, how can I avoid the battle and escape? It is just that I have fought hard for 5 battles, and need to rest for a while. Such a request was completely fair. Fang Yuan smiled, this Yi Lui Kyun Xing could still be so cool-headed. But he also did not expect these words to be able to make these GU Immortals lose their rationality from anger. In truth, his pestering had already reached his target. So, Fang Yuan immediately allowed, rest as much as you want, I will give you 2 or 3 days. If 2 or 3 days are not enough, then take 2 or 3 years, ha ha ha. Hee, an hour is enough. Yi Lui Kyun Xing smiled with clenched teeth. Fang Yuan was really detestable, Yi Lui Kyun Xing was naturally very angry. But he was also very aware of his own situation. His immortal essence expenditure was not much and he still had a lot of reserves left. Resting for an hour was mainly to restore his mental energy. He had his own methods for this, and after an hour, he could completely recover to his peak state. At that time, he will let this Lu Guanyi taste his power. This hour of time appeared somewhat unbearable as the GU Immortals waited. Finally, Yi Lui Kyun Xing recovered and walked to the stage, standing opposite Fang Yuan. Lu Guanyi, Yi Lui Kyun Xing was just about to speak when Fang Yuan's body suddenly erupted with dazzling silver light. At the next instance, a silver-colored ancient sword dragon shot out of the light. It had a sharp dragon horn, its mouth was opened wide, revealing it to be densely filled with sharp fangs. So despicable, he actually sneak attacked. The righteous path's immortals scolded at once. The ancient sword dragon had already neared Yi Lui Kyun Xing. Chapter 1204. How could it be seen through? Yi Lui Kyun Xing had a great fright as he quickly retreated. This shameless guy, he cursed inwardly, not having expected Fang Yuan's actions. Every time he felt that Fang Yuan was shameless, Fang Yuan's following actions would completely redefine shamelessness. Fortunately, Yi Lui Kyun Xing had been all the while and reacted in time. One chased and the other escaped. The distance between Fang Yuan and Yi Lui Kyun Xing was rapidly shrinking. The immortals held their breaths. Yi Lui Xiaojin also subconsciously stood up, looking at Yi Lui Kyun Xing with worry. Yi Lui Wei Hong, however, stood stably in his seat. He had a better understanding of Yi Lui Kyun Xing's trump cards and did not think Yi Lui Kyun Xing was in danger right now. So he cultivates Ancient Sword Dragon transformation. Chu Du thought. Ancient Sword Dragon, based on potential, it is still inferior to my heaven-swallowing hound. Immortal Wang had clenched teeth. He finally took action. This was what many GU immortals were thinking. Go! The retreating Yi Lui Qunxing suddenly called out, pushing lightly towards the charging Ancient Sword Dragon. Immediately, his whole hand emitted brilliant blue light. A star fragment shot out from the blue light and collided against Fang Yuan with a speed like that of a meteor. Fang Yuan roared towards the sky before suddenly moving. The whole Ancient Sword Dragon made a beautiful arc in the air, as it nimbly moved past the incoming star fragment, almost brushing past it. When the GU immortals saw this scene, despite having an extremely bad impression of Fang Yuan, many of them could not help but give praise internally, as they sensed Fang Yuan had already reached a proficient level at Ancient Sword Dragon transformation. Such control made Fang Yuan seem like he was an Ancient Sword Dragon from the start of his life. Not good. Immortal Wang suddenly spoke. Almost at the same time, Yi Lui Qunxing saw Fang Yuan moving past this star fragment, and the corner of lips slightly raised up. Ping! A sharp sound echoed. Fang Yuan's dragon tail swung, directly smashing the star fragment he had brushed past. The Ancient Sword Dragon Fang Yuan had turned into had a more terrifying tail compared to its claws. Its tail could directly smash dark inkstone, let alone this star fragment. Such a response made even Chu Du pleasantly surprised. He was happy inwardly. The information path Gu Wormai gave to Lu Guanyi has records of all the battle scenes of Yi Lui Qunxing. So Lu Guanyi knows he absolutely cannot let Yi Lui Qunxing have many star fragments under his control. The greater the number of star fragments he controls, the stronger he would become. Finally, it would form into an enormous advantage that managed to defeat 5 people in a row. Yi Lui Qunxing was slightly disappointed when he saw Fang Yuan responding in the wisest way, and quickly increased his retreating speed. At the same time, he repeatedly clapped. Layers of blue light covered his 2 hands, from which star fragments shot out one after the other. At first, they were only thumb-sized, but as they moved in the air, they returned to their original size and flew more rapidly, bringing in strong gusts of wind. Boom boom boom. Fang Yuan used his horn, claws as well as his body and tail to destroy all these star fragments. He did not give Yi Lui Qunxing any opportunity to accumulate power. For a moment, star debris flew all around, turning into blue fragments like fog or sand, which scattered with the strong gale, creating a beautiful sight that was difficult to describe. The silver scales of the Ancient Sword Dragon also added to this beauty, as it moved along the star debris. Chu Du slightly frowned. Originally, Fang Yuan made a wise choice of smashing the star fragments, targeting the weakness of Yi Lui Qunxing's immortal killer move. But also because of this, it led to a decrease in Fang Yuan's speed. The distance between the two did not shrink much. The advantage of the sneak attack before had already disappeared now. Yi Lui Qunxing had already stabilized himself. He snorted, as he struck out with his hands rapidly. Star fragments shot out everywhere, but not directly towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan fell into a difficult situation with 2 choices in front of him. If he charged directly towards Yi Lui Qunxing, the latter would retreat and he would not be able to forcibly close the distance. At the same time, the surrounding star fragments would keep on increasing, accumulating a great advantage for the latter. If Fang Yuan dealt with these star fragments, he would have to keep on flying around, and would fall deeper into Yi Lui Qunxing's scheme, giving the latter the initiative to more easily arrange the battle situation. The Ancient Sword Dragon slowed down its offense in its state of hesitation. Sensing this, Chu Du's frown became deeper, while Yi Lui Wei Hong, inside Golden Dawn Hall, was starting to smile, taking a small sip of fine wine. Despite Fang Yuan's hesitation not lasting for long, he had missed a good opportunity and there were now dozens of star fragments on the battlefield. Yi Lui Qunxing's advantage had started to accumulate. Fang Yuan was surrounded by the star fragments. Despite him not caring about his body, and engaging in even more crazed offenses, he was not able to break through the layers of encirclement. Yi Lui Qunxing relaxed. The star fragments continued to increase, not only surrounding Fang Yuan, some had also appeared beside him, orbiting around continuously. Lu Guanyi, you acted arrogant and boasted shamelessly. It was to make me take back the star fragments so I would have to lay them out again. Your scheme was quite deep, almost letting others think you were wildly arrogant. Unfortunately, I am not the same person I was years ago. A few years ago, I already improved upon this weakness of my immortal killer move. It is indeed somewhat weak at the start, but your methods are not enough to restrain me. Now, what are you going to use to resolve this situation? A dragon's roar resounded. Fang Yuan moved his body, brandished his claws, and destroyed countless star fragments. Star debris flew all around. The dragon's might was powerful, its speed was especially astonishing. Unfortunately, the spectating immortals sensed weakness within this strong momentum. Fang Yuan was attacking wildly, but Yi Lui Qunxing was far away, watching with arms folded in front of him, maneuvering the star fragments leisurely. As time passed, there were more and more star fragments orbiting around Yi Lui Qunxing. Lu Guanyi has lost. Immortal Wang spoke decisively at this sight. Shui Wuhen did not speak, inwardly thinking, based on strength, Elder Lu Guanyi is indeed powerful, at the same level as Elder Hao Zhen and Elder Chou Lao Wu. But there is still a gap when compared to Yi Lui Qunxing. Chu Du was still frowning, the strength Fang Yuan displayed was not consistent with his expectations. But he still felt Fang Yuan had a trump card and was still confident in Fang Yuan, and until the end of the battle, he would choose to keep his expectations. Yi Lui Xiaojin laughed heartily at the entrance of Golden Dawn Hall, and shouted, "That Lu Guan or whatever, why are you not yelling now? Come on, continue boasting. Didn't you say my tribe's Lord Qunxing could not compare to you? Didn't you say fighting him would lower your status? Why are you not speaking now? Only knowing how to yell, what do you want to vent out?" The ancient sword dragon roared furiously, destroying the star fragments. Sensing Fang Yuan's furious mood, Yi Lui Xiaojin laughed again. Chu Sect's second supreme elder is only at this level. In all fairness, he does have some strength. Have you counted how many star fragments he has already destroyed? But that is useless, Yi Lui Qunxing's dominance is already increasing. Lu Guanyi's hesitation earlier decided the battle. This was his only fault, but it was perfectly used by Yi Lui Qunxing. Thinking of it, it is also not strange. What is Chu Sect? How can they be on par with our great Huang Jin forces? Their second supreme elder has such battle strength, Chu Du cannot be considered to have made a bad judgment. The righteous path Gu immortals drank and rejoiced inside Golden Dawn Hall, the atmosphere was relaxed. Yi Lui Wei Hong stroked his beard, the smile on his face had become brighter, but at the same time, he did not forget to speak and remind Yi Lui Qunxing, be careful of his dragon breath. The ancient sword dragon's strongest weapon is its breath. Until now, he still hasn't breathed out once. Yi Lui Qunxing slightly nodded. Even without Yi Lui Wei Hong's reminder, he had already been concerned about this. Experts. They were not decided with just strength, but also their mental state during battle. No doubt, Yi Lui Qunxing, who had suffered numerous defeats, had an extremely good mentality. He was an expert that had gone through painstaking training, setbacks and defeats. His foundation was extremely solid and stable. However, Yi Lui Qunxing did not retreat. Right now, he was quite far away from Fang Yuan, almost at the opposite end of the battlefield. Yi Lui Qunxing looked at the star fragments orbiting around him, and thought, I have 100 star fragments protecting me. Even if Chu Du personally comes, I can resist for a while, let alone this Lu Guanyi. Dongfang Chongfan, you might have passed away, but let me sustain the reputation of myriad star fireflies for you. After all, my immortal killer move had received your guidance. Right as most of the Gu immortals felt the battle was decided, there was a sudden change. Sword Escape Immortal Gu. Suddenly, Fang Yuan activated rank 7 Sword Escape Immortal Gu. Right now, he had transformed into an ancient sword dragon, his transformation path Dao marks had turned into sword path Dao marks, adding on to his cultivation of sword eyebrows Immortal Gu, his sword path Dao marks had already reached a number of 10,000. 1,000 Dao marks could double an Immortal Gu's power. 10,000 Dao marks could add 10 times the power. Sword Escape Immortal Gu was already an exceptional movement Gu worm among rank 7 Immortal Gu. Now, 10 times its power was added. At the same time, the ancient sword dragon's own speed also had to be calculated. Sword dragons did not have strong long-range attacks, but their burst of speed from a stationary state was astonishing. Ancient sword dragon, Sword Escape Immortal Gu and 10,000 sword path Dao marks, when stacked together, allowed Fang Yuan to instantly disappear from his spot. Before any immortals had reacted, he had already flown through the whole battlefield and appeared in front of Yi Lui Qunxing. At this moment, Yi Lui Qunxing's expression was still paused on a strategic and victorious smile. But his pupils had shrunk to needle-sized, as he looked, with extreme fright, at a gigantic sword dragon head that filled his whole vision. He only had one thought in his mind. Impossible. My star fragments, flying trajectories are extremely profound and takes reference from myriad star fireflies, how could he see through it? This was Yi Lui Qunxing's final thought in life. Chapter 1205. Be careful of Lu Guanyi. Everything happened too quickly. At the previous moment, the ancient sword dragon was still tightly surrounded by star fragments. It was charging here and there, roaring repeatedly but unable to do anything. At the previous moment, Yi Lui Qunxing was still at the other end of the battlefield, star fragments were orbiting around him like he was the Lord of Stars. At the previous moment, almost all the GU immortals felt Yi Lui Qunxing already had victory in his grasp and the battle was decided. Because they were very much familiar with the scene that was unfolding in front of them. Before this, the 5 GU immortals Yi Lui Qunxing had defeated in succession were all in this situation. Although there was no study of subconscious bias in this world, these GU immortals' thought processes were almost the same at this moment. Then, at the next moment, Fang Yuan suddenly used Sword Escape Immortal GU, instantaneously bursting out with an extremely terrifying speed. At the next moment, the ancient sword dragon had destroyed all the obstructing star fragments in its path, and arrived in front of Yi Lui Qunxing. He opened his mouth and breathed out dragon breath. While Yi Lui Qunxing was still confident in his defensive methods, his whole head had instantly been sliced off. The human body was weak and had many fatal areas. When the head was cut off, they would die. Even if they turned into an immortal zombie, their head was still a weak point. Yi Lui Qunxing immediately died. Fang Yuan smoothly grabbed his body. A portion of Yi Lui Qunxing's soul was also cut, and before it could escape from his physical body, Fang Yuan had already stored it inside his immortal aperture. The whole process went extremely quickly. Fang Yuan had already been plotting for a long time. Activating Sword Escape, charging in, using his dragon breath and retrieving the corpse. The whole process involved 4 actions. But even so, after Fang Yuan finished these 4 actions, his whole dragon body had already charged out of the battlefield, reaching several li away. One could feel how terrifying his speed was. If it were a human body, it might have already burst from the enormous pressure brought by such intense speed. Fortunately, Fang Yuan had transformed into a dragon. But even with this, Fang Yuan felt quite a bit of pressure when he had charged. His vision had already turned blurry. If he had human eyes, they would not have been able to keep up with such speed. But Fang Yuan's eyes were dragon eyes now. Even so, it was difficult for his eyes to cope with this speed. At this speed, even Fang Yuan felt like he could not sustain it. If I am to move with this speed, I must use all my energy and concentration in controlling my body. Otherwise, if there is any deviation in my direction, who knows whether I crash into peaks or the ground at the next moment. This speed is too fast. One moment I am still in the air, and the next moment I am already several li away. Fang Yuan thought in his mind. He thought of when he had first gotten the sovereign immortal aperture and practiced colliding into southern borders mounds. Besides knocking himself dizzy, the whole mound and even the veins underneath had been destroyed. This speed was quite suitable for a momentary burst, but in truth, it was not highly practical during battle. Once Fang Yuan used his fastest speed, he would have to use all his energy and concentration in controlling the ancient sword dragon body. As such, he could only perform some simple actions, or maybe rely on the transformed sword dragon body. If so, it would be quite dangerous. Because although Fang Yuan would have a sturdy and strong body in ancient sword dragon form, the sovereign immortal body's characteristic of non-conflicting Dao marks would still exist. Ancient sword dragon transformation is a classic case of strong offense and weak defense. Moreover, there is an extreme imbalance between its offense and defense. Fortunately, I actually succeeded this time and killed Yi Lui Qunxing. My luck is pretty good. First, I need to find a place to annex this immortal aperture before I think of anything else. Fang Yuan did not return, directly flying away from Blood Plain. The GU immortals of both sides watched his figure dazedly, until he disappeared into the horizon. The immortals looked at the messy battlefield with countless star debris as well as many star fragments still flying in the air. Only then did they come to a sudden realization. Lu Guanyi, he killed Yi Lui Qunxing. Unbelievable. This is like a dream. Too fast, we simply cannot react to such speed. Regardless of the righteous path or Chudu's side, they were both clamoring in discussions. GU immortals did not transmit their voices secretly, but directly spoke out, as if they could only release the doubts in their hearts by speaking up. Yi Lui Xiaojin was standing, dumbfounded, at the entrance of Golden Dawn Hall, like a statue. Just moments before Yi Lui Qunxing was killed by Fang Yuan, he had still been shouting and mocking Fang Yuan. Now, these words he spoke out, as well as his actions, seemed to be like slaps that struck his face repeatedly and resoundingly. He was shaken and shocked, unable to believe this fact. Yi Lui Weihong also stood from his seat, his hand was still holding a wine cup and his beard was wet from the spilling of the wine. Just the moment before Fang Yuan killed Yi Lui Qunxing, he had been sitting and moving the wine cup to his lips. But after the matter occurred, Yi Lui Wei Hong subconsciously stood up from shock, not caring about the wine cup in his hand, letting the wine spill on his beard, neck and clothes. Yi Lui Qunxing was dead. An expert of Yi Lui tribe, a famous Northern Plains Gu Immortal, Yi Lui Qunxing was dead. His death was so sudden that there had been no signs at all. If Yi Lui Xiaojin was said to be a future hope of Yi Lui tribe, then Yi Lui Qunxing was a current pillar of the tribe. But he had died. His life had ended here. This was an extremely heavy impact to Yi Lui Wei Hong and Yi Lui Xiaojin. And to the whole of Yi Lui tribe as well, this was an extremely big loss. Terrifying, too powerful, he is indeed the second supreme elder of Chu sect, such astonishing battle strength. Chu Du really has an eye for talent. I had been looking down on Lu Guanyi just before, my insight is still too superficial. The Gu Immortals on Chu Du's side were all showing happy expressions. Despite them not liking Fang Yuan, the battle achievement was displayed in front of them. Fang Yuan had resolved their difficult problem, Yi Lui Qunxing, permanently. From now, there would be no such person in Northern Plains Gu Immortal world. Amazing. Elder Lu put on a pretentious appearance to incite the other side, then during the battle, he lured the enemy into having a false sense of security step by step. He clearly has such strength, but he restrained himself until the last moment, when he dealt the fatal blow. Shui Wuhen heaved a long sigh. He was thoroughly convinced. Such a turn of events made him fully admire Fang Yuan. How laughable I was, I had still been thinking Elder Lu was nothing impressive. Sigh, if I was Elder Lu's enemy, I might have died without knowing how I died. I am still too inexperienced. Everyone needs to pay attention. This Lu Guanyi is extremely crafty, be vigilant when you encounter him in the future. Inside Golden Dawn Hall, Nu Erji spoke with a grave expression, breaking the long silence. Right now, as they thought back to Fang Yuan's performance, they all felt Fang Yuan was extremely insidious and sly. The arrogance before the battle and the weak display during the battle were just disguises so he could strike with the most fatal attack at the end. He did not make a move carelessly, but when he moved, it shook everyone. Pingji, if you run into this Lu Guanyi alone in the future, it would be best for you to avoid him and retreat. Nian Yifang looked at his tribe's future hope, and spoke with worry. Nian Pingji nodded. Yes. I understand. I am only a sword child right now. When I become a swordmaster in the future and cultivate to rank 7, I will definitely have a proper fight with this elder Lu Guanyi. The righteous path Gu Immortals spoke to each other. Yi Lui Qunxing died a miserable death. The whole battle was in Lu Guanyi's grasp. What we and Yi Lui Qunxing felt and saw, was all just his facade. Sigh, who could have thought he had such strength? Elder Yi Lui Wei Hong, don't blame yourself. We will definitely take revenge for Yi Lui tribe in the coming battles. Yi Lui Wei Hong had already snapped back to awareness. There was one thing he did not understand in his mind. How was Lu Guanyi able to easily penetrate through the heavy lines of defense from Yi Lui Qunxing's numerous star fragments? He had sparred many times with Yi Lui Qunxing and was very clear on how much power the defensive lines held. This doubt was shrouding over Yi Lui Wei Hong's heart, like a heavy dark fog. He took 2 large breaths. His face was still pale, but he forcibly calmed down because right now, he represented the whole of Yi Lui tribe. If his performance was not good, the whole of Yi Lui tribe would be disgraced. Lady Gong Wanting, Yi Lui Wei Hong took a deep bow to the main seat. My tribe's Yi Lui Qunxing is of pure Huangjin bloodline. Sacrificing his life here is also a glory for him. He is a hero of our Huangjin bloodline. But now, his corpse is still in his killer's hands. His soul also might still be alive. I sincerely request to come forward and recover Qunxing's corpse and his soul. Of course. Gong Wanting softly agreed. Her attitude was straightforward and clear. According to the rules set by both sides previously, they could exchange corpses. But right now, Fang Yuan had already raced off to who knows where with Yi Lui Qunxing's corpse. Even if the righteous path Gu Immortals wanted to chase him, they were too late. Thus, Gong Wanting directly asked Chu Du. Chu Du was also surprised at Fang Yuan's direct departure, and had already sent a letter to ask. Fang Yuan had such strength, Chu Du still needed to rely on him. Just as Gong Wanting had asked, Chu Du had coincidentally received Fang Yuan's reply in his immortal aperture. I have great use for Yi Lui Qunxing's corpse. Brother Chu, if you have no choice, just expel me from Chu sect. These were two simple sentences, but they expressed Fang Yuan's firm and unrelenting attitude. Chu Du frowned, but spoke calmly to Gong Wanting. Fairy, you can rest at ease, Yi Lui Qunxing's corpse will definitely be guarded properly. I have already notified my sect's second supreme elder. But to exchange for the corpse, your side will have to pay a price. Everything can be discussed. Yi Lui Wei Hong immediately agreed, his stance was clear. Chapter 1206, Becoming Rank 7. Fang Yuan had already thrown the matter of the blood battle martial competition to the back of his mind. He absolutely would not let go of Yi Lui Qunxing's immortal aperture. Even if he could not annex it right now, he could do so in the future. As for the righteous path's demand for Yi Lui Qunxing's corpse and soul, Fang Yuan thought about it and was willing to satisfy a portion of the request regarding the body. His focus was the immortal aperture. Yi Lui Qunxing's soul also could not be transacted, he could soul search and obtain many of Yi Lui tribe's secrets. After the soul search, he could still hand over this Gu immortal soul to Langya sect and earn sect contribution points. The urgent matter right now is to test whether I can annex this immortal aperture or not. Fang Yuan flew rapidly, he took twists and turns, guarding against heaven's will. A few hours later, he arrived at Taichu. Taichu was not too far away from Blood Plain. If looked from Northern Plains map, Blood Plain would be at the left side and Taichu would be at the right side, the territory in between was He tribe's Iron Eagle Blessed Land. Blood Plain, Iron Eagle Blessed Land and Taichu, if these three were connected in two lines, they would form an irregular V shape. Entering Taichu, Fang Yuan changed his appearance and sneaked inside. He was familiar with the route, and soon, he arrived at the Super GU formation he had arranged previously. Through the Super GU formation, he arrived at Langya Blessed Land. Fang Yuan has returned. Sixth Hair immediately paid close attention to Fang Yuan's every move. Ever since he left after exchanging for Dragon Breath Immortal GU, this is the first time he has returned. What did he use Dragon Breath Immortal GU for? Sixth Hair was constantly guessing. He did not know that hours ago, Fang Yuan had used Ancient Sword Dragon Transformation to kill a rank 7 GU Immortal expert, Yi Lui Qunxing. This person was at the same level as Pai Shui Han, an unfettered scholar. Fang Yuan's strength was now already able to compare favorably to these characters. Since the failure at Yitian Mountain, Shadow Sect was in an extremely disordered state. Sixth Hair might very well be the only survivor of Shadow Sect left in Northern Plains. His information gathering was much slower than before. But the news of Fang Yuan killing Yi Lui Qunxing could not be covered up. This news was too shocking and would soon spread throughout the whole of Northern Plains' GU Immortal world, and even Central Continent's GU Immortals would hear of it. After all, Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects were also paying attention to this blood battle martial competition. Fang Yuan is leaving again. Sixth Hair was astonished. The Super GU formation flashed again as Fang Yuan left. Sixth Hair did not know what Fang Yuan was doing, coming and going in such a hurry. But he intuitively felt something amiss, and was somewhat panicked. He felt Fang Yuan was going to obtain enormous benefits at this time. Fang Yuan's growth rate was increasing rapidly, and to Shadow Sect, this was very bad news. Fang Yuan used Langya Blessed Land to teleport. He wanted to annex the Immortal Aperture. For that, he had to first place the aperture. He could not place the Immortal Aperture in Blood Plain, the commotion would be huge and it would attract countless gazes, and that was not good for Fang Yuan. It was not easy to obtain this rank 7 Star Path Immortal Aperture. I naturally want the process of annexing it to go without any mishaps. When Fang Yuan appeared in the other GU formation outside, he was already very far away from Blood Plain. He had already planned his actions, and had already chosen a location. Exiting the teleportation GU formation, he hid his tracks and flew rapidly, arriving above ordinary grassland not long later. After inspecting and not finding anything wrong, Fang Yuan took out Yi Lui Qunxing's corpse. The pitiful fellow's head had already been sliced off entirely. Fang Yuan used temporary measures to handle the headless corpse, ensuring the Immortal Aperture would still exist. This method had its own history. When Fang Yuan had seen Blazing Heaven Demoness, method of retrieving apertures, he had also inquired her for some research results of old Immortal Kongju. Adding on to Fang Yuan's methods from his first life, he had created his own method in preserving an Immortal Aperture. Yi Lui Qunxing's soul was already taken out by Fang Yuan and sealed properly. The situation was a little troublesome. Yi Lui Qunxing's soul had similarly suffered from his dragon breath and its injuries were not light. Fortunately, Fang Yuan had Guts GU. Although this GU worm was only a mortal GU, it was created from a secluded domain of heaven and earth, and was among the best methods of soul strengthening in this world. Fang Yuan was the owner of Danghun Mountain, thus he had large reserves of them with him. After using many guts Gu, despite Yi Lui Qunxing's soul being on the verge of dissipation, it was finally rescued. Fang Yuan released the seal he laid out and threw the corpse onto the grassland. The mighty Yi Lui Qunxing, who had enjoyed boundless glory while alive, was treated so casually after dying. If Yi Lui tribe's Gu immortals were to see this, they would definitely jump out in anger to stake their lives against Fang Yuan. Several breaths later, there was turbulence in heaven and earth qi. The immortal aperture began to land on the ground, causing a huge commotion. Fortunately, Fang Yuan had dog shit luck and was not as unlucky as before, when it seemed like he might even die from choking when drinking water. Without any surprises, the immortal aperture's entrance opened in front of Fang Yuan. Despite having the upper extreme heavenly eagle, he still took the chance to enter Qunxing blessed land through the entrance. Yi Lui Qunxing's blessed land was rather peculiar. The sky was a scene of darkness, but the ground below emitted dim blue light. The moment Fang Yuan glanced, his mind shook. He discovered, the ground of this blessed land was actually covered with countless star fragments. The large ones among these star fragments were as big as shells, while the small ones were the size of pebbles, and they gave a rustling sound when stepped on. The blessed land seemed endless in size, its surface was vast and its terrain was level. Fang Yuan wanted to fly, but felt a powerful magnetic force that firmly kept him to the ground. The ground suddenly protruded up, then a basin-sized star core floated in front of Fang Yuan. This azure star core was like a dark blue crystal ball, it was this blessed land's land spirit. It was bright and colorful, and was slowly revolving on its own axis, emitting all kinds of light rays, making Fang Yuan mentally associate them to the rays of light in those perfect diamonds back on Earth. Amidst soundless communication, Fang Yuan learned about this blessed land's ownership condition. To ordinary Gu immortals, this condition was quite difficult. Because the land spirit's request was to show the true, complete version of the immortal killer move, myriad star fireflies, to it. While alive, Yi Lui Qunxing had all along been pondering on myriad star fireflies. The immortal killer move he created also imitated myriad star fireflies heavily. His obsession was about this. After death, his obsession combined with the heavenly power in the immortal aperture, to form this land spirit. My luck is overflowing, it cannot be stopped, ha ha ha. Fang Yuan immediately took out the whole contents of myriad star fireflies and gave it to the land spirit. He was the killer of Dongfang Chongfan and had searched Dongfang Chongfan's soul countless times, sometimes also torturing him. In the end, he had handed Dongfang Chongfan's soul to Langya land spirit like it was rubbish, and exchanged it for sect contribution points. After a while, Fang Yuan became this blessed land's master. Now is the most crucial moment. Let's see if I can annex this blessed land. Fang Yuan rested for a while before beginning. Immortal apertures could annex one another, and summarizing the experiences of predecessors, there were three main conditions for this. First, annexing an immortal aperture required specific attainment level. Second, a smaller immortal aperture could not engulf a bigger one. Third, dead apertures could not be annexed. Fang Yuan already satisfied two conditions for annexing Qunxing blessed land. But there was still one condition left which was somewhat ambiguous. A smaller immortal aperture could not engulf a bigger one. The question here was, what was small and what was big? If it was cultivation level, rank 6 immortal apertures were small and rank 7 immortal aperture were big, then Fang Yuan would not be able to annex this Qunxing blessed land. If it was based on the immortal aperture's foundation and so on, Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture absolutely surpassed Qunxing blessed land, and could devour it. Fang Yuan had already wanted to test this and verify it. The regretful thing was that there were very few rank 7 immortal apertures among the immortal apertures he knew of, and he was also unable to fulfill the attainment level conditions. Until now, when Fang Yuan seized Qunxing blessed land. Fang Yuan had both skills and boldness, he began to test. With the land spirit's help, he began to annex Qunxing blessed land. The process was smooth beyond expectations. He simply did not encounter any obstacles. The test succeeded. After annexing Qunxing blessed land, not only did the sovereign immortal aperture have an enormous star fragment plane, more importantly, many of Fang Yuan's calamities and tribulations were past, letting him officially ascend to rank 7 from rank 6. Rank 7 Gu Immortal. From this moment on, I am a rank 7 Gu Immortal. I have finally become a rank 7. Fang Yuan was filled with emotions. In the 500 years of his first life, he had only been at rank 6 second heavenly tribulation level. Naturally, the current Fang Yuan knew that Heaven's Will had intentionally suppressed his cultivation level. Heaven's Will required an otherworldly demon as a tool to deal with Shadow Sect. Fang Yuan was chosen by Heaven's Will, naturally it carved and sculpted Fang Yuan to make him a qualified chess piece. At the least, his cultivation level could not be too high. If he was too strong, Heaven's Will would find it more difficult to control Fang Yuan. He also could not be too weak, otherwise, even with rebirth, he could not be of any use. Rank 6 was just right. This was a long-term plan of Heaven's Will. But at present, because of all kinds of fortuitous encounters as well as his own efforts and perseverance, Fang Yuan had finally broken through Heaven's Will's restrictions and charged to rank 7. Its significance was huge. Rank 6 GU Immortals were considered bottom tier, they were numerous. Rank 7 GU Immortals were mid-tier, they were the elites among GU Immortals and had high statuses. Rank 8s were rare, their every move could create a storm in a region. Reaching this level, Fang Yuan had already become an elite among GU Immortals, an expert. If a rank 6 saw him, they would have to detour around him. Even among rank 7 GU Immortals, Fang Yuan was only wary of Yi Lui Qunxing, Unfettered Scholar, Newer GU, such characters of this level. Chu Du. Fang Yuan estimated he was still somewhat below him. Fortunately, Chu Du was currently his ally. At this moment, the Sovereign Immortal Aperture began to produce Red Data Mortal Essence. Shortly, Fang Yuan would possess his own Red Data Mortal Essence. At the same time, he could also merge his accumulated Green Grape Immortal Essence and turn them into Red Data Mortal Essence. 100 beads of Green Grape Immortal Essence could merge into a bead of Red Data Mortal Essence. I need to merge them. If Green Grape Immortal Essence was used to activate rank 7 Immortal GU, there would be at least 30% additional expenditure. After merging them into Red Data Mortal Essence, there won't be any meaningless loss in this aspect. Once some time passes, I will have reserves of Red Data Mortal Essence and will no longer have to fear battles of attrition. The difficult situation when Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu attacked Heifan Grotto Heaven will be completely behind me. Chapter 1207. Doing Something Bad. Ha! How Zhen flew to the sky and spat out a thunderbolt. This thunderbolt shrunk into a ball, with the color of lapis lazuli, and charged towards Hao Zhen's opponent with a speed that seemed to be slow but was actually fast. His opponent was a GU Immortal of Morong tribe who had a burly stature, with muscles that were like layers of rocks. He had a wide nose bridge, large chin, and small forehead, making his head look like a triangle. Seeing the thunderbolt approach him, he actually did not dodge and let the thunderbolt land on his body. Boom! The thunderbolt exploded, lightning splashed out everywhere, dazzling the spectating immortal's eyes for a moment. After the lightning dissipated, the Morong tribe GU Immortal was standing on the same spot without even budging. There was a patch of burnt color on his chest from which white smoke was still rising. But, the effect was only that. This is your strongest attack. You have burned some of my hair, it is a little more powerful than before. This Morong tribe GU Immortal spoke in a tranquil tone without a hint of frustration. Hao Zhen's eyes seemed to spout fire from anger, but he was not able to retort. His strongest killer move had no effect on this opponent. Wonderful. He is indeed the GU Immortal famous for his defense in Northern Plains. Morong gang, this guy has not attacked at all and is only taking the beating passively. Elder Hao Zhen's offense actually could not show any results. Both sides' GU Immortals exclaimed in surprise. Fang Yuan killing Yi Lui Qunxing had been an extremely heavy blow to the righteous path. To turn the tide of the situation and raise morale, Gong Wanting immediately took measures to make Morong tribe's strongest expert among their current group take action. It was this burly man who seemed to be forged from steel, Morong gang. Chu Du was frowning again. He sighed internally. Just now, Yi Lui Qunxing was killed, now there is Morong gang. These Huang Jin tribes are indeed the overlords who have ruled Northern Plains for so many years, their accumulation is truly powerful. At this moment, Hao Zhen admitted his defeat and returned with a pale expression. I am ashamed, I could not live up to your expectations. Chu Du consoled him with a few words. Fang Yuan had not left for long, and he had fallen into the same awkward situation like before. He looked at the immortals behind him, but found he had no capable people to send. In my opinion, the strongest person among us is you, Supreme Elder. But, you cannot easily take the stage, I think you need to call back Elder Lu. Immortal Wang suggested. His suggestion was immediately approved by many GU Immortals. Right, Elder Lu's strength is unfathomable, he can kill Morong gang. Elder Lu killed Yi Lui Qunxing easily, killing Morong gang won't be a problem for him. Elder Lu's ancient sword dragon breath is too powerful. Even Murong Gang spoke. Domination Immortal, don't send other minor characters. Besides you, the only one who can enter my, Murong Gang's, eyes, is Lu Guanyi. Bring him out, I would like to experience the power of his dragon breath. Damn it, he is actually looking down on us. Cho Lao Wu was furious. Hao Zhen clenched his fists. If it were 2-on-2, we could use Wine Thunder Roar and wipe them out. After seeing Fang Yuan's power, Hao Zhen and Cho Lao Wu had no more dissatisfaction towards their position of 3rd and 4th Supreme Elders. Hao Zhen was only saying this to retain some face. Actually, he was aware that his and Cho Lao Wu's Wind Thunder Roar was powerful, but it was not easy to use it and it required a safe environment. Like before, when Heavenly Lord Baizu attacked Heifan Grotto Heaven, they were able to use Wind Thunder Roar because they were protected by other GU Immortals. Everyone was anticipating Fang Yuan's reappearance. Chu Du's side hoped Fang Yuan could raise their might again. The Righteous Path's side hoped they could kill Fang Yuan. Avenging Yi Lui tribe was secondary, the main thing was that they wanted to kill this person to salvage their face. Chu Du naturally also hoped Fang Yuan would take the stage again. But Fang Yuan had not given any reply. Chu Du could only smile bitterly at this, and could do nothing about it. His and Fang Yuan's relationship was of mutual benefits and they held equal status. Langya blessed land, inside a secret room in a cloud city. Fang Yuan was sitting cross-legged on a prayer mat, his divine sense entering his immortal aperture. He was merging green grape immortal essence and refining them into red date immortal essence. This merging method was widely popular and was not anything new. Countless mortal GU was moving on their specific trajectories, some were standing still, some emitted light, while some flew continuously. Under the effect of these GU worms, beads of green grape immortal essence were slowly but surely merging together. Tens of thousands of green grape immortal essence were piled in this enormous mortal GU formation. With Fang Yuan's continuous effort, there were already 2 beads of red date immortal essence produced at the bottom of the green grape immortal essence. Chu Du sent a letter again, it is still that Murong Gang, this is already the 6th letter. Fang Yuan's attention slightly diverted. Shortly afterwards, he threw this information path mortal GU aside, having no interest to even reply. What blood battle martial competition, I don't give AFCK. Screw off. In any case, Fang Yuan's agreement with Chu sect was extremely loose. Besides some fundamental interests and principles, even if he suddenly did not want to do a task, or his interest waned, or he betrayed the sect, or he voluntarily left Chu sect, he would receive no backlash. What was the nature of this blood battle martial competition? Fang Yuan knew it was a political compromise. This was a stage which Heavenly Lord Baizu and Yao Huang, 2 rank 8s, had discussed and created. It was to restrict the scope of the conflict between one another. The basic purpose was to ensure both sides' interests did not suffer loss beyond their bottom line. Yao Huang knew clearly that since Baizu tribe was already established, it could not be destroyed. At least, he alone was not able to do it. Because on the opposing side was a rank 8 GU Immortal, Heavenly Lord Baizu. As long as he existed, Baizu tribe was as stable as a rock. Unless Longevity Heaven sent a powerful reinforcement, for example, a rank 8 GU Immortal. When he received the Longevity Edict, he was already reluctant. All he needed was to provide an explanation to deal with Longevity Heaven. Heavenly Lord Baizu did not want to provoke trouble, he had just created his tribe and wanted everything to move smoothly. However, the situation did not permit it. He could only swallow the bitter pill and face the Huang Jin tribe's allied offense. Just this competition would do. They would not truly fight to the death. Chu Du had seen through these 2 sides' thoughts, and because he was coincidentally squeezed in between, he took a huge step forward and established Chu sect, using Heavenly Lord Baizu's might to test the response of Northern Plains' righteous path. If it was accepted, he could expand Chu sect, if it was not accepted, he would disband Chu sect. The losses wouldn't be huge and were of no concern. From Longevity Heaven's standpoint, they naturally did not like seeing other bloodlines mixing in among the righteous path. All along, Northern Plains had been the world of the Huang Jin tribes. They were even more unwilling to see Chu sect's existence. The master-disciple relationship, compared to the bloodline system, were 2 different ideologies. Systems based on either one were always sensitive and on guard against the other. Longevity Heaven's GU Immortals were clear that once the master-disciple system was spread, it would greatly shake their tribal forces and benefits. Central Continent was a clear example and the best evidence of this. But Longevity Heaven is dreaming if they want to rely on just the Longevity Edict to destroy the alliance between Chu sect and Baizu tribe. Unless they become more resolute and send out rank 8 experts to kill Heavenly Lord Baizu. This world is all about strength. He tribe did not have a rank 8 GU Immortal to suppress the situation and had also lost their Immortal GU house. With just some excuses, their fellow Huang Jin tribe members destroyed them. Baizu tribe is an outsider and not of Huang Jin bloodline, but there is Heavenly Lord Baizu, making it a completely different situation. Strength. Fang Yuan's thoughts lingered over this word. Rank 7 cultivation level. This was an accomplishment, but to him, it was only another starting point. The blood battle martial competition does not match my interests. I have the sovereign immortal aperture and can annex other immortal apertures, skipping calamities and tribulations to raise my cultivation and strength. This is a shortcut for cultivation, filled with slaughter and blood. But I like it. I want chaos, the more chaos, the better. But the 5 regions chaotic war is still over 400 years later. It is too far away, I can't wait that long. I need to think of a way to make them fight. The blood battle martial competition is too gentle, how many can be killed? If there are no deaths, there won't be blessed lands. There is also Langya sect in the 4 Races Alliance, if I let Northern Plains human GU Immortals know of them, what will their response be? Regretfully, I am bound by alliance agreements. Although there is, do not care, it cannot resolve the underlying problem. Fang Yuan's only worry was that the world wouldn't be chaotic. Sinister and dangerous thoughts started to rise up in his mind. He did not intend to go to Blood Plain. The sect's enthusiastic anticipation and the enemy's provocation, what value did they have? Fang Yuan had to spend all his effort to kill Yi Lui Qunxing. If his actions had slightly slowed, he would have lost the opportunity. Would those 3 immortal GU houses just stay there like decorations? Especially that Murong gang, he was a tough foe, it would not be easy for Fang Yuan to defeat him, let alone kill him. Since the start of the battle, Chu Du's side had lost many times, while the righteous path had not even lost 1/3 of the time. There definitely would be some internal conflicts of the sect involved in this. This was a trick righteous path GU Immortals like to play. Fang Yuan had first thought of going to southern border. Over these last days, he had adjusted his cultivation plan, using almost all his time and energy in refining Dream Path Mortal GU. It was all preparation for that giant dream realm in southern border. But he thought and felt the opportunity at this blood battle martial competition was truly too rare. Adding on that on southern border's end, it was occupied by the righteous path whom had arranged a super GU formation to tightly defend the giant dream realm. Fang Yuan felt it would be very difficult for him to meddle in and did not have any opening currently. Thus, after Fang Yuan refined all the green grape immortal essence into red date immortal essence, he quietly left Langya blessed land and arrived at Lu tribe's territory. He was going to do something bad. Chapter 1208. With the murder weapon in hand, killing intent surges. Northern Plains, Bone Burial Field. This was a place filled with white bones, countless piles of skeletons were together. There were some huge skeletons resembling hills, and also small skeletons unassumingly situated by the side. Most skeletons were pale white in color, under the corrosion of nature in the sun and wind, their flesh had already decomposed, only these strong and tough bones of the desolate beasts and ancient desolate beasts remained. But there were also some bones with special colors. Some were yellow and shining brightly, some were purple and alluring, emitting poisonous gas. GU Immortal Lu Yong was paying close attention. He had the Huang Jin bloodline, he was a rank 6 enslavement path GU Immortal of Lu tribe. Right now, he was manipulating 6 desolate beast bone armor hounds as he traveled in Bone Burial Field, searching for his target. The formation of Bone Burial Field had several possible rumored origins. Some said that during the olden antiquity era, 2 enslavement path great experts engaged in a life and death battle here, resulting in the deaths of many desolate beasts and ancient desolate beasts. Some said that this was a graveyard of bone monsters. Countless bone monsters felt that their lifespans were ending, so they came here and buried themselves. Some even speculated that this was a GU refinement ground created by a refinement path great grandmaster during ancient times. After countless years had passed, it reached this present state. But no matter what, Bone Burial Field contained large numbers of desolate beast and ancient desolate beast corpses. Lu tribe controlled this place and developed it wholeheartedly, trying to turn this into a production base for bone path GU worms. And every year, Lu Yong would borrow the use of this place, to pick suitable bones for his bone armor hounds and replenish their bone armor. This white bone seems like a snake bone, it is soft and cannot be used. If it is eaten, the bone armor would be soft and have no defensive properties. This is a poison GU, bone armor hounds do not have high resistance against poison, they will die if they eat this. This bone is not bad, it seems to be a desolate beast steel skin giant lizard's bone. Even though it is not the hardest, it is good enough, especially when it can endure heavy weight. Lu Yong inspected for a moment, discovering more and more loot. Eventually, he placed his beloved hounds, the 6 bone armor hounds, at 6 different locations. He himself was lying down on a huge skull, looking at the sky. Today has good weather, it is sunny with gentle breeze. He looked at the blue sky, there were no clouds anywhere, and the sunlight was not intense, wind blew on his face mildly, he felt very comfortable. Looking at the empty sky, Lu Yong felt really bored. The tribe has sent an information GU here. Suddenly, his brows rose as his eyes shone with light, he sensed that something interesting was coming. His mind quickly entered his immortal aperture, as his consciousness entered the information path GU worm. The contents of the GU worm spoke about the advancements and developments that Lu tribe had made in the last few months. Next were some rumors, and the actions of experts recently. Finally, the most important point, it talked about the developments of the blood battle martial competition. Murong Gang defeated 8 people in a row, impressive. However, between every battle, he has to recover for 2 hours. He is unlike Yi Lui Kyun Xing, he could fight consecutively. I heard that Murong Gang has strong defensive methods, but his immortal essence expenditure is huge as well. Sigh, speaking of Yi Lui Kyun Xing, it was really a pity. He was actually killed by Chu Sect's second supreme elder in a sneak attack, that was really despicable. Lu tribe was a Huang Jin tribe, a righteous path force. When spreading the information, they naturally placed it from their own perspective for their political benefit. Even though the information was not wrong, the way it was written would give others a different feeling when reading it. For example, losing repeatedly, and fighting on despite repeated setbacks, between the 2 phrases, they would provide different impressions. All in all, it talked about how strong Fang Yuan was, and the facts about his ancient sword dragon transformation. The information also emphasized on how shameless he was, and how devious and scheming he acted. The Lu Guanyi identity that Fang Yuan was using had definitely became infamous after this battle. Nobody in Northern Plains GU Immortal World did not know of him. Even Prince Feng Xian and Heavenly Lord Baizu learned of him. Even in the other regions, like Central Continent, they heard about Lu Guanyi. After expressing his anger and disdain towards Fang Yuan, Lu Yong thought about himself, sighing. I cultivate enslavement path, I am not suited to one-on-one fights. When can I gain such fame at the blood battle martial competition too? Maybe one day, I can defeat Lu Guanyi and challenge domination immortal Chudu. Wouldn't that be really cool? Lu Yong was thinking about this when suddenly, there was a huge explosion. Rumble. The entire ground was shaking intensely. What is going on? The giant skull below Lu Yong had fallen off the neck of the skeleton due to the tremors. Lu Yong quickly got up as he floated in the air, staring widely in bewilderment. This defensive GU formation is being attacked, someone is attacking here. This is the territory of my Lu tribe. Thinking of this, Lu Yong felt that it was unimaginable. My Lu tribe is a great righteous path force, a Huang Jin tribe, we are a domineering force in the whole of Northern Plains. Especially recently, their longtime enemy, He tribe, was gone, and Chudu was also being targeted. The future looked promising and they were currently in high spirits. Someone was actually attacking Lu tribe's territory now. Who gave them the guts? Their dog guts were truly rivaling heaven. Lu Yong was furious, and also slightly glad. Thankfully, I came here to pick up bones and feed my bone armor hounds. Hey, the attacker is really unlucky to have encountered me. At the next moment, Lu Yong saw the invader. Or rather, a dragon. An ancient sword dragon. It had pale white eyes, a sharp horn that extended to the sky, its scales were shiny and thick, its claws were sharp and powerful, it had a muscular tail, and its teeth gave off a chilly feeling. Lu Yong shuddered upon seeing it. Oh, it seems that a member of Lu tribe is here, my luck is pretty good. The ancient sword dragon spoke human words, as its dragon eyes emitted strong killing intent. Lu Guanyi. Lu Yong was stunned. At this moment, he wanted to cry. His heart was pounding intensely, his body was uncontrollably shaking as Lu Yong screamed internally to himself. Stay calm, quickly calm down, Lu Yong. You can do it. Another voice in his head was resounding. Calm down my ass, he is Lu Guanyi, even Yi Lui Kyun Xing died at his hands. He is scheming and shameless, unscrupulous and shrewd, I am just a tiny rank 6 GU immortal. Calm down, calm down. Right, Lu Guanyi is the second supreme elder of Chu sect. Isn't Chu sect a righteous path force? Then Lu Guanyi is a righteous path Gu Immortal. As a righteous path member, how can he attack us for no reason? Attacking us for wealth, that is a demonic path act. Lu Guanyi calmly analyzed. At the same time, another voice screamed in his head. Then tell me, why is Lu Guanyi not participating in the blood battle martial competition but here instead? He destroyed our Lu tribe's defensive Gu formation, his evil intentions are apparent. What else could he want? Even though Lu Yong's name had courage, one in it, at this moment, he was completely gutless, he stammered as his tongue was shivering. Lu, Lord Lu, why are you here at my Lu tribe? Of course it is to. Fang Yuan purposely dragged his words out. Is to what? Lu Yong asked. Fang Yuan's reply was not in words, it was his dragon breath. This was the ancient sword dragon's breath, having the rank 7 dragon breath immortal Gu in it, the speed was fast like a flash of white light. Lu Yong's upper body blew up. Fresh blood spewed out, scattering on the pale white bones, detailing the sadness and pathetic state of a weakling. The two halves of his body landed on the ground, his expression before death was still frozen on his face, his eyes were staring wide open. Useless fellow. But it is not strange all of the Huang Jin tribes have been in power for too long, there is unavoidably some rot on the inside. Just like the 10 great ancient sects. Fang Yuan analyzed internally. The bigger the tree, the more leaves it would have, and unavoidably, it would have some rotten wilting leaves as well. Woof woof woof. The 6 bone armor hounds barked at Fang Yuan angrily. Their owner was dead, but they still feel attached to him. They all ran over, guarding their master's corpse, defending it loyally, as if hoping that it would revive. Seeing this, Fang Yuan's evaluation of Lu Yong rose by a bit. It seems that he is passable in raising desolate beasts. Unfortunately, they do not have the wisdom of Gu immortals. What can these 6 beasts do? Fang Yuan sneered as he flew down. This battle had no unexpected surprises. An hour later, 6 fainted bone armor hounds were lying in Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture. These desolate beast hounds appeared at a good time. Fang Yuan was about to buy some desolate beast dogs and use their feces to feed dog shit luck immortal Gu. There were also a vast amount of desolate beast and ancient desolate beast corpses, they had extremely high value. Fang Yuan placed them in his sovereign immortal aperture, temporarily storing them somewhere. And finally, Lu Yong's corpse, his immortal aperture was still hidden in his stomach, Fang Yuan sealed it for now. This enslavement path immortal aperture was suited for Fang Yuan to annex. And also, Lu Yong's soul. After being hit by Fang Yuan's dragon breath, although extremely weak and at Fang Yuan's mercy, it was still alive. Fang Yuan quickly thought of the reason. This Lu Yong was an enslavement path Gu immortal. Enslavement and soul path are related. To manipulate desolate beasts, one must have a sufficiently strong soul foundation. Fang Yuan quickly left the scene of the crime. He moved very quickly. Only a tattered defensive Gu formation was left, and the empty bone burial field, as well as the upper body of Lu Yong. The next location, Lu tribe's Jade Light Pit. Fang Yuan licked his lips, showing excitement in his eyes. He had just committed murder, but now he was not going to retreat, he was going to attempt another crime. As the saying goes, with the murder weapon in hand, killing intent surges. Fang Yuan was a rank 7 Gu immortal with ancient sword dragon transformation, his battle strength had risen immensely, he was starting to become somewhat unrestrained. Chapter 1209, Looting Another Place. Whoosh. A figure flew in the sky, tearing across space as a shrill sound could be heard. It was Fang Yuan. Right now, he was still in the ancient sword dragon form, he was using sword escape immortal Gu and flying rapidly. This speed was terrifying. Back then when he killed Yi Lui Qunxing, almost none of the Gu immortals managed to react. Of course, his burst of speed at that time was shocking. But now, Fang Yuan was traveling a long journey, his speed was lower now, compared to his peak burst of speed. Even so, he was very fast. My speed is top tier even in Northern Plains Gu immortal world. Of course, I cannot compare to Wei Fengzi. Chu Du's body strength travel is far below me now. Wei Fengzi was most skilled in speed, he was known as the fastest person in Northern Plains. Disregarding any hidden cultivators, Wei Fengzi was truly worthy of this. Because there was once a rank 8 Gu immortal who chased him but failed to capture him. Fang Yuan was still far inferior compared to him. This was the case for both straight distance travel and nimbleness. But Chu Du's body strength travel had indeed been faster than Fang Yuan's sword escape immortal Gu in terms of straight distance travel. Now, Fang Yuan turned into the ancient sword dragon. His original flying speed with his Dao mark amplification caused Fang Yuan's speed to surpass Chudu. Not to mention that Chudu's immortal killer move, body strength travel, had a major flaw: it could only fly straight, it could not turn and had low nimbleness. If compared to rank 8 GU immortals, how would I fare? Fang Yuan had a question in his mind. Immediately, he shook his head. Rank 8 GU immortals were all unfathomable. If they wanted to pursue Fang Yuan, he would be in danger. His initial burst of speed might surpass them and pull some distance, but in a long-distance chase, he would definitely become slower. And pursuing methods were not just about speed. Rank 8 GU immortals had a wide variety of methods. They could do other things like GU formations, teleportation, long-range attacks and others. I have just destroyed Lu tribe's bone burial field, and even killed an enslavement path GU immortal of Lu tribe, Lu Yang. When he was alive, he had already informed his tribe, as a super force, Lu tribe will definitely send GU immortals to pursue me. However, Lu tribe's available fighters are all at the blood battle martial competition. The remaining GU immortals are at the resource points, or have missions to attend to. It is not easy to send people out, especially people who are able to deal with the expert Lu Guanyi. Time is needed. After they get to bone burial field, they will still need some time to chase me. They would not think that instead of retreating, I actually went to the southeast direction and planned to rob the Jade Light Pit next. In this case, these Lu tribe pursuers might waste even more time. With all this wasted time, I can definitely devour the whole of Jade Light Pit. Fang Yuan had been collecting information about the outside world while he was cultivating. Lu tribe was big and eye-catching. A lot of their resource points in the outside world were known to all. Sometimes, in order to display their own strength and foundation, Lu tribe's GU immortals would expose intel about these places themselves. For example, the bone burial field's production of mortal GU, and how many profits they derived. Fang Yuan had been very interested in Lu tribe's Jade Light Pit. Because of Attitude GU. To feed Attitude GU, he needed a vast number of flowing light fruits. The higher the rank of the immortal GU, the longer the interval of feeding, and the greater amount eaten each time. Fang Yuan had already bought a lot of flowing light fruits in Treasure Yellow Heaven earlier. He had planted them in Sovereign Blessed Land, using fruits to bring about more fruits. Right now, he needed huge amounts of dazzling light GU between his flowing light fruits to increase the amount of light. With intense light, brand new flowing light fruits would form. This method was not only efficient, it was simple and easy for Fang Yuan to control. And inside the Jade Light Pit, there were all sorts of light GU. For example, Jade Light GU, Reflect Light GU, Borrow Light GU, Return Light GU, all sorts of colored light GU, like Blue Light GU, Red Light GU, Black Light GU, and others. Dazzling Light GU was one of them. Fang Yuan raced against time. Right now, they were already alerted. His time was very precious. There is a cloud layer in front. Joy flashed across the ancient sword dragon's eyes. At this time, he was already near the Jade Light Pit. A huge cloud layer was able to conceal Fang Yuan's traces. I am quite lucky to think there was a cloud layer here. If the Lu tribe GU immortal defending the Jade Light Pit is careless, I might even be able to sneak attack. Fang Yuan carried anticipation as he rushed into the cloud layer. The thickness of the cloud layer completely concealed the ancient sword dragon's body. But the truth was not as nice as Fang Yuan had hoped. In the Jade Light Pit, Lu tribe GU immortal Lu Luo felt something. She stared with wide-opened eyes. An enemy. This Lu Luo was nearly 200 years old, but she had the body of a young child. Her eyes were watery and bright. Her petite body was so cute and delicate, people would want to protect her. She was the Lu tribe GU immortal guarding the Jade Light Pit. She was very alert now. All because of Lu Yong's report, all of Lu tribe's GU immortals were notified. They were all on guard. The Jade Light Pit's defensive GU formation did not have any immortal GU. Fang Yuan's transformation, the ancient sword dragon, easily tore the defense and got in. It is Lu Guanyi indeed. He did not escape. He is here to attack my Jade Light Pit. Seeing the ruthless ancient sword dragon, Lu Luo was furious and shocked. I cannot escape. My speed is not as fast as the ancient sword dragon. Thankfully I planted many seeds here. I can only persevere and wait for reinforcements. Brother, save me quickly. Lu Luo quickly analyzed. At the same time, she muttered as the ground of the Jade Light Pit tore open. Dozens of vines resembling dragons or pythons drilled out. Next, countless trees expanded like jade umbrellas, becoming larger and larger until a huge forest was formed. Lu Luo hid herself in the forest and vanished. It seems that they are on guard. Fang Yuan took a glance and saw Lu Luo, before she vanished from his perception. Rank 6 wood path, but this forest was meticulously created, it is quite troublesome to deal with. Fang Yuan was strong, but this was a tough nut to crack. Because this forest was an immortal battlefield killer move. Lu Luo was a rank 6 GU immortal, but she had an immortal battlefield killer move, this was atypical. But Fang Yuan felt no surprise. From Lu Yong's soul, he obtained a lot of information. Lu tribe had Lu Chong and Lu Luo, these two siblings, because of their father's protection, both of them became GU immortals. Lu Chong was a rank 7 GU immortal, his battle strength was not lower than Yi Lui Qunsheng. But this time, to get rid of the mud monster group in Lu tribe's great mud pit, he could not spare any time outside. Lu Chong had great battle strength and status, especially when Lu tribe had no rank 8 GU immortals. Lu Chong doted on his little sister Lu Luo since a young age, he even gave her lifespan GU. This woodpath battlefield killer move was obtained by Lu Chong for Lu Luo to have a strong trump card defending her. Fang Yuan thought about it, he did not deal with this forest, he charged straight for the GU worms in the pit. Countless GU worms were taken by him, kept into his immortal aperture. Lu Luo watched with much fear, gritting her teeth. This Lu Guanyi was robbing her in her face, this proud female immortal felt extremely humiliated and angry. This Lu Guanyi is truly too daring. He dared to kill my Lu tribe's GU immortals and even steal our cultivation resources. It is a pity I do not have enough strength, otherwise, I would make you pay the consequences. Lu Luo hid inside the battlefield killer move and did not dare to show herself. Even after Fang Yuan left, she did not reveal her traces. Not long after, there was white light in the sky. The light was painful to the eyes, it suppressed even the sun's radiance. As the white light charged down, it formed into a male GU immortal. He had a skinny body and a sharp face, he had bean-like eyes, and showed anxiety and rage on his face. Brother, Lu Luo saw this person and immediately appeared between the trees, feeling elated. Sister, you are safe. I was so worried about you. The person who came was Lu Chong. He saw that Lu Luo was fine and calmed down, the anxiety on his face turned into joy. Lu Luo was also overjoyed, but she was still very cautious. Brother, let's match our secret code, before I let you in. There was no issue, Lu Chong entered the battlefield killer move and the siblings hugged each other tightly upon meeting. Sister, you must have been shocked, right? Don't worry, brother is here. Brother, that Lu Guanyi is so terrible, he took away all of the GU worms inside the Jade Light Pit, not a single one is left. I failed to defend them, the tribe is definitely going to punish me. No need to worry, with me here, I will protect you. Don't be afraid, cheer up, I will back you up no matter what. Lu Chong doted on his sister, even though she was actually nearly 200 years old. He touched Lu Luo's head as he consoled. Brother will go kill this bad person and avenge you, sister. In fact, he was sent by Lu tribe to capture Fang Yuan to begin with. Lu Chang's battle strength was not inferior to Yi Lui Qunzing's. He cultivated light path and was specialized in speed and movement, he could retreat or advance easily. Between GU immortals, once one party had advantage in speed, they would gain initiative in the battle. Whether they fought or retreated, it would be up to them. While the siblings interacted, more Lu tribe GU immortals arrived. Just now, Fang Yuan killed Lu Yong and took Lu tribe's resources, the entire tribe was furious. Not only did they send Lu Chong, they also sent 2 more GU immortals to assist him and ensure that they succeeded. My goodness, our tribe's Jade Light Pit was completely robbed by Lu Guanyi. Kill him, we have to kill him, otherwise, our Lu tribe's anger will not be appeased. The 2 new GU immortals who arrived screamed. Stop screaming, you are so loud, what if you scare my sister? Lu Chong raised his head and yelled back. The 2 Lu tribe GU immortals knew about Lu Chong and quickly lowered their volume. Among them, one used an investigative method and quickly found traces of Fang Yuan. He escaped there, let's chase him. You guys go first, I will escort my sister back. Lu Chong said. The other 2 GU immortals were dazed. To and fro, how long would you take? If we do not start chasing now, we will not catch up to him. Then what if we leave and Lu Guanyi comes back and harms my sister? If anything happens to my sister, I will take it out on you both. Lu Chong shouted loudly. Brother is the best. Lu Luo was joyous. The 2 Lu tribe GU immortals looked at each other, they could see the bitterness in each other's faces. According to what Lu Yong said, if Lu tribe wants to capture me, they will send that Lu Chong. But he is a light path GU immortal, even if I kill him, I cannot annex his immortal aperture for the moment. Why would I take a risk then? Fang Yuan was still in his ancient sword dragon transformation as he flew towards the west. As he flew, he searched Lu Yong's soul. Right now, Fang Yuan was going to retreat. If he continued, there would not be enough time. He did not need to fight with Lu tribe's GU immortals. If he did that, the risks were great with minimal benefits. As he flew, Fang Yuan continued using Sword Escape Immortal GU. Undoubtedly, Red Date Immortal Essence was truly durable. If it were like before, would Fang Yuan with only Green Grape Immortal Essence dare to sustain such expenditure for so long? But it was out of Fang Yuan's expectations that while he retreated, he did not see a single trace of Lu tribe's GU immortals. He did not know that Lu Chong had delayed a lot of time in escorting his sister back. He could no longer make it. As for the other two Lu tribe GU immortals, they did pursue him, but they could not catch up. After Fang Yuan entered Taichu, these two Lu tribe GU immortals could only watch without entering. Through the GU formation, Fang Yuan returned to Langya Blessed Land. Fang Yuan is back. Sixth Hair immediately got news of it. He had a complex feeling. Because right now, he had already known that Fang Yuan had killed Yi Lui Qunsheng. Most importantly, Fang Yuan had used Ancient Sword Dragon transformation. He used his own strength, instead of relying on the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle. How did his battle strength surge so quickly? And recently, he has been very busy, going in and out of this place. What is he trying to do? Sixth Hair was very uneasy. Seeing Fang Yuan's busy schedule, he felt like he was looking at Fang Yuan's back, seeing him sprinting ahead rapidly. Sixth Hair really wanted to trip Fang Yuan and halt his progression, but there was nothing he could do. Whenever he thought of Fang Yuan's upper extreme Heavenly Eagle, he became dejected. Rank 8 Battle Strength. Sixth Hair did not know the truth. He could only hope that Fang Yuan had few heavenly crystals and could not feed the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle. I hope this upper extreme Heavenly Eagle dies of hunger. Sixth Hair could only hope for this. I have insufficient heavenly crystals indeed. Fang Yuan returned to his cloud city. After inspecting his immortal aperture, he sighed deeply. Sixth Hair's hopes were not groundless. Heavenly crystals were rank 8 immortal materials. They were rarely sold in Treasure Yellow Heaven. In this aspect, Fang Yuan did not have enough heavenly crystals to begin with. The majority were obtained by trading resources with Heavenly Lord Baizu. The upper extreme Heavenly Eagle had been growing all the while. His heavenly crystal storage was depleting. It doesn't matter, I will use my sect contribution points to exchange for a batch and use my immortal killer move on the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle to delay its growth. He Fan's true inheritance could accelerate the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle's aging and cause it to mature rapidly. He naturally had a method to do the opposite. However, Fang Yuan only spent some sect contribution points to exchange for heavenly crystals. He did not use any immortal killer move. Fang Yuan was still not familiar with this killer move. He needed to practice it many times or the activation would fail. Not only would Fang Yuan be injured, the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle would be hurt as well. Secondly, this immortal killer move needed 3 days to activate. Fang Yuan did not have enough time. Fang Yuan left after returning. Using the super teleportation GU formation, he went to another corner of Northern Plains. Undoubtedly, Langya Land Spirit's super GU formation was simply too useful. Fang Yuan lost fixed immortal travel, but using this super GU formation, Fang Yuan could still enjoy the effects of fixed immortal travel. Choosing a location without anyone nearby, Fang Yuan tossed out Lu Yong's corpse. Placing his immortal aperture, Fang Yuan went inside. Lu Yong had a land spirit left behind. It was a black hound. The condition it had was, collect 20 desolate beast hounds for this blessed land. Fang Yuan easily completed it. A few days later, he successfully annexed this blessed land and the sovereign immortal aperture gained some new territory. Speaking of which, Fang Yuan had annexed many immortal apertures recently. The entire space in the sovereign immortal aperture had increased slightly. But because the sovereign immortal aperture was just too large, the increase in size was not significant. There was also another change, the land spirits. Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture already had more than 10 land spirits. There was a snake, star core, black hound, land spirits in all sorts of forms were scattered in different locations over the sovereign immortal aperture. They all controlled an area and Fang Yuan provided them immortal essence and GU worms. A lot of the immortal essence was left behind by their main bodies before death. It was not Fang Yuan's own green grape immortal essence or red date immortal essence. Other people's immortal essence was also known as foreign immortal essence. They had limited use. The biggest use was to activate immortal GU houses. In the past, Fang Yuan obtained a huge amount of Giant Sun's immortal essence. He used almost all of it to activate Graceful Chaotic Dual Stage, and used it extensively in Yitian Mountain. Next, he used Change Soul and the remaining amount of Giant Sun's immortal essence went to Ying Wuxie. It was necessary to mention that Immortal GU House had fixed abilities, but their strength depended on the immortal essence that was expended. They could either be stronger or weaker. After absorbing Lu Yong's enslavement path Blessed Land, Fang Yuan realized that his count of calamities and tribulations had only moved forward by 1. It seems that with rank 7 cultivation level, annexing a rank 6 Blessed Land has negligible effects. The truly effective ones are rank 7 immortal apertures. Fang Yuan realized this and his gaze turned pensive. It is slightly difficult. In the 5 regions GU Immortal world, rank 6 GU Immortals were the most commonly seen. Rank 7s were rarer, their quantity was far lower than rank 6s. And rank 7 Blessed Lands could only be annexed by those with Grandmaster attainment level in that path. Fang Yuan only had 5 Grandmaster attainment level paths, among which, rank 7 GU Immortals who cultivated Strength Path, Blood Path, and Wisdom Path were few. Star Path and Transformation Path were still available, but this way, Fang Yuan's options were far fewer. He could not annex rank 7 Blessed Lands as casually as rank 6 ones. But Fang Yuan had a solution for this problem. He directed his gaze far away. In the direction of southern border. How can I make my way in? Just familiar face alone, even though I can conceal myself, if I interact with them, I will be full of flaws. This is a headache. Fang Yuan had no idea on what to do. He did not leave Northern Plains urgently. He was waiting to see everyone's responses. Lu Guanyi had an infamous reputation now. He suddenly assaulted Lu tribe and killed Lu Yong. He looted Bone Burial Field and the Jade Light Pit. News quickly spread in the Northern Plains GU Immortal world. The Righteous Path forces were furious. Gong Wanting also changed her attitude after hearing this. She questioned Chu Du and blamed the Domination Immortal. Over at Chu sect, they were also surprised and shocked. They held great anticipation towards Fang Yuan, but he ignored the blood battle martial competition and went to loot Lu tribe alone. So daring, so unrestricted in his actions. Lu tribe was Chu Du's enemy. Back then, it was because of Chu Du and Lu tribe's conflict that he gained great reputation and became known as the Domination Immortal. But now, even though Lu tribe suffered a loss, Chu Du was unhappy. This brother Lu is too uncontrollable. Chu Du's good feelings towards Fang Yuan vanished without a trace. He did not want any GU Immortal under him to do this. Fang Yuan did this and broke all of the rules. He destroyed the tacit understanding between both sides. Chu Du was quite angry. Yao Huang and Heavenly Lord Baizu also felt the same. Even Yi Lui Qunxing's death could not cause any sorrow or concern in these 2 rank 8 GU Immortals. But after hearing news of Fang Yuan attacking Lu tribe, they frowned in unison. A piece of rat poop spoils an entire pot of soup. Lu Guanyi is not a member of the Righteous Path. The 2 rank 8 GU Immortals gave their verdict on Fang Yuan immediately. Both sides had agreed to hold their bottom line during this conflict. It was like 2 kids fighting. They would agree beforehand that they could attack anywhere, except the face. Fang Yuan did this. He not only slapped their face, the vile consequences were something that the Righteous Path GU Immortals did not want to see. Immediately, Chu Du declared, Lu Guanyi's actions were purely his own. He was not asked to conduct them. To express his innocence, as well as Chu sect's standpoint, Chu Du announced on the scene that Lu Guanyi would be expelled from the sect. He would no longer be Chu sect's second supreme elder. So resolute, Fang Yuan noted as he held Chu Du's letter GU. In the letter, Chu Du was very polite. He expressed his helplessness. The situation was very urgent at that time. He had to expel Lu Guanyi immediately. He expressed that on the inside, he had wanted Fang Yuan to stay, and hoped that in the future, they could still cooperate. Be it Fang Yuan's immortal tribulation tempering aperture or the crazed demon agreement, Chu Du had reason to continue cooperating with Fang Yuan secretly. But publicly, the 2 were enemies. At the same time, Heavenly Lord Baizu and Yao Huang sent orders denouncing Fang Yuan's demonic acts. They were putting up an arrest warrant for Fang Yuan so that he would receive judgment. This was how the Righteous Path worked. They did not want demons to wreak havoc. The 3 sides immediately kicked Fang Yuan out. Even though Fang Yuan's battle strength was something Chu Du needed. Fang Yuan's plan of disrupting Northern Plains failed. Not just that, Lu Guanyi was now wanted by everyone. Chu Du, Heavenly Lord Baizu, Yao Huang, they are truly not easy to scheme against. Fang Yuan smiled. He was unfazed. Not to mention Lu Guanyi was just a randomly created false identity for himself, even if it was real, so what? His main connections in Northern Plains GU Immortal world were the variant humans. At the same time, he was planning to go to southern border now. Although Fang Yuan would still pay attention to the developments of Northern Plains, his focus was now shifting towards the giant dream realm. Southern border, oh southern border, I am coming back. As a rank 7 GU Immortal. Is this considered to be returning with glory? Fang Yuan had a complex smile on his face. Chapter 12:11. Stepping into southern border. Wind was blowing around him. The grassland below was rapidly moving in Fang Yuan's vision as he flew past it. After more than 10 days of traveling, the huge green regional wall appeared in front of Fang Yuan. Suddenly, Fang Yuan's expression changed. He sensed that Dark Limit Immortal Gu's power was rapidly weakening. Someone is deducing about me again. Fang Yuan realized. He quickly used Dark Limit Immortal GU, resisting the deduction's power. Fang Yuan had already encountered this problem many times. Recently, Fang Yuan killed Yi Lui Qunxing and plundered 2 resource points of Lu tribe. Not only did he empty them out, he even killed a rank 6 enslavement path GU Immortal, Lu Yang. Thus, while Fang Yuan was leaving Northern Plains, he encountered many deductions about himself. The frequency was much higher than before. Thankfully, Fang Yuan had Wisdom Path Grandmaster attainment level, and also Dark Limit Immortal GU to defend himself. But Dark Limit Immortal GU had a flaw. Every time it was activated, it would need to rest for a long time before it could be used again. Fang Yuan needed to consider this point, and avoid a situation where he had to use Dark Limit Immortal GU but it was not ready for use. Nurture, use, refinement, the mastery of GU was deep and profound. There were many things to take note of depending on different GU worms. Lu tribe. 3 Lu tribe GU immortals were in the GU formation, consuming their immortal essence as they maintained the operations of the GU formation. A moment later, the GU formation stopped. The 3 GU immortals took their rest. Failed again. Outside the GU formation, rank 7 light path expert Lu Chang shifted his feet as he spoke in a disappointed tone. We have failed Lord Lu Chang's request. We are extremely ashamed. The 3 Lu tribe GU immortals sighed as they lowered their heads, having ugly expressions. Lu Chang snorted coldly, looking at the 3 immortals unhappily, but his tone had calmed down. Forget it, our Lu tribe do not have any Wisdom Path GU immortals. This GU formation can only achieve the effects of a Wisdom Path deduction. I will go and find Tian Shaxin for help now. Pardon me for saying this, Lord Lu Chang, but we failed to deduce it not because our formation is weak, but because the enemy has very strong defensive methods that prevent others from making deductions about him. The leader of the 3 GU immortals said. That is the case. Lu Chang's expression became darker. He muttered to himself. The other party is a transformation path GU immortal specialized in ancient sword dragon transformation. How can he have such methods? But who knows, transformation path is said to project all paths. But the higher possibility is that this demon Lu Guanyi has helpers. Domination Immortal Chu Du. Even though he expelled Lu Guanyi, I do not believe that he would do nothing. These demonic path or lone immortals are nothing good. Saying this, Lu Chang gritted his teeth, his expression became ruthless. Lu Guanyi plundered 2 of Lu tribe's important resource points, and even killed a GU immortal from Lu tribe. How could they take this lying down? Lu Chang was ordered to kill Lu Guanyi, but after so many days, he had not made any progress. Earlier, for his sister's safety, he did not chase after Fang Yuan. This matter caused a bad reaction in the tribe. Right now Lu Chang was enduring huge pressure. He wanted to find Fang Yuan at this very moment. Lu Guanyi, you coward, where are you? Lu Chang felt extremely stifled. He had no idea that he was going to be even more stifled from now on. Because Fang Yuan had already left Northern Plains, going to other regions. Yi Lui tribe was similarly as troubled as Lu Chang. Yi Lui Qunxing died at Fang Yuan's hands. Yi Lui tribe was definitely going to seek revenge. And now, Fang Yuan was expelled from Chu sect. Yi Lui tribe immediately took action to investigate and pursue Fang Yuan. The GU immortals that they sent were not weaker than Lu Chang. Unfortunately, Fang Yuan had already left Northern Plains. Fang Yuan successfully passed the Licorice Regional Wall. This mystical regional wall that surrounded Northern Plains was filled with green fog. Grass was growing wildly in the fog and was constantly twining and twisting, like a sea of snakes or hair. Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture could pass through without any obstruction. After passing the Licorice Regional Wall, Fang Yuan got into the Blue Water Regional Wall of Eastern Sea. When he passed the Blue Water Regional Wall and reached Eastern Sea, His aura had completely changed, it was that of an Eastern CGU immortal. This was one of the special attributes of the sovereign immortal body. Everywhere Fang Yuan went, he would perfectly integrate into the environment, like he was born and bred there. It was unlike other GU immortals, their external region aura was very obvious. Undergoing tribulation was also very troublesome, they had to return to their region to do it, otherwise, taking in another region's heaven and earth chi would cause a lot of problems. After entering Eastern Sea, Fang Yuan did not travel in a rush, he went to Qingyu Blessed Land and rested for a while. This blessed land was left by GU immortal Lu Qingyu. After Fang Yuan killed him, the Duck Land spirit was successfully controlled by Fang Yuan. Meeting Fang Yuan again, the Duck Land spirit was excited, it quacked and jumped up and down. Fang Yuan said comforting words to it as the Duck Land spirit shed tears of joy, quack quack. I knew that Master did not abandon me. Sadly, Fang Yuan's attainment level was too low, he could not annex this rank 7 blessed land. Fang Yuan rested for a while, waiting for Dark Limit Immortal GU to recover. Because this blessed land was a small world, during this period, anyone who deduced things about Fang Yuan would fail, it would not expend Dark Limit Immortal GU's power. By the time Dark Limit Immortal GU could be used again, Fang Yuan did not hesitate to use it on himself. After this replenishment, Fang Yuan left Qingyu Blessed Land, going to the turbulent flow sea area. The troublesome path in the chaotic currents wasted multiple days, but he eventually got into City Well. There were many immortal apertures inside City Well. Fang Yuan used the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle, entering and annexing a portion of the Blessed Lands. Fang Yuan progressed by 2 calamities and tribulations again, the effect was not good. The remaining immortal apertures were mostly water path, but Fang Yuan's water path attainment level was just ordinary. After leaving, Fang Yuan did not rush ahead once again. He went to Qingyu Blessed Land and waited for Dark Limit Immortal GU to recover before leaving for his destination. After leaving Northern Plains and going to Eastern Sea, the deductions from Northern Plains became extremely weak. Each deduction expended less of Dark Limit's concealment power. Fang Yuan was much different from before now. Not only was he aware about Heaven's will, he knew how to guard against it, he even had Dark Limit Immortal GU and many wisdom path methods to protect himself. Of course, most importantly, his cultivation level and battle strength had risen greatly as well. Compared to the time after the Battle of Yitian Mountain, when Fang Yuan went from southern border to northern plains, there was an evident contrast. Right now, if Fang Yuan met a group of ancient cloud beasts, he would not be chased around, the ones in danger would not be Fang Yuan but the ancient cloud beasts instead. Thinking about it, Fang Yuan felt deeply. After gaining the sovereign immortal body, his cultivation level was rising at a shocking speed. It was worthy of the ultimate product created by Spectral Soul, Shadow Sect, and Zombie Alliance, after spending 100,000 years of time and effort. Of course, the stronger the sovereign immortal body, the greater the enmity between Fang Yuan and Shadow Sect was. This irreconcilable feud made Fang Yuan deeply concerned about Ying Wuxie and the rest. Unfortunately, Ying Wuxie and the others were crafty, Fang Yuan could not find their locations. Otherwise, he would rather give up on the annexing of blessed lands and get rid of these threats first. Tens of days later, Fang Yuan finally got through Eastern Sea's Blue Water Regional Wall, and Southern Border's Miasma Regional Wall, officially stepping into Southern Border. Interestingly, be it Fang Yuan or Ying Wuxie, they did not know that the other party was in the same region. I have heard long ago that the location of Yitian Mountain has been sealed with a huge defensive GU formation made by the Righteous Path GU Immortals together. I should go and check out the situation first. Fang Yuan had no idea how to enter the giant dream realm now. He decided to gather intelligence first. He flew southwest. The flying journey was filled with lots of detours, of course. Considering Heaven's will, if Fang Yuan flew straight, that would be giving Heaven's will a chance to set up trouble. Someone is deducing about me. While flying, Fang Yuan felt Dark Limit Immortal GU's power weakening and found it laughable. Southern Border, Northern Plains, they were separated by 2 regional walls, Fang Yuan's danger of being deduced was extremely low. As expected, in Northern Plains Myriad Bean Garden, GU Immortal Tian Sha Xin returned half of the payment to Lu Chong. Lu Chong had an ugly expression, and disbelief in his eyes. What? Even you could not deduce it? Wisdom Path GU Immortal Tian Sha Xin smiled bitterly. Wisdom Path deductions are not all powerful. I have tried my best, I am deeply sorry. Lu Chong flew away from Myriad Bean Garden at a slow speed. He was very troubled. and very lost. If the current number 1 wisdom path GU Immortal in Northern Plains, Tian Sha Xin, could not deduce Lu Guanyi's location, who could? Lu Guanyi, you had better pray that you never bump into me ever. Lu Chong swore. He had deep killing intent in his icy cold eyes. No matter how deep his killing intent was, Fang Yuan was living a good life. Oh, they stopped deducing. He, when these people pay an even bigger price and obtain no results, they should stop. Fang Yuan laughed. Northern Plains, Snowy Mountain. Ma Hongyun looked at Lady Wan Shou, who was approaching, as he stared angrily. Go ahead, you vicious woman. Lady Wan Shou snickered. She pressed the lightning ball into Ma Hongyun's chest. Crack crack crack. Ma Hongyun's body trembled intensely. He was emitting smoke due to the lightning. Goo. Lady Wan Shou spit out a mouthful of blood. She had a pale expression. Why did I fail again? Her eyes were blood red. After failing so many times, her elegant demeanor was gone. Ma Hongyun forced himself to stay conscious. He said weakly, how would I know? I don't want it to fail. Just succeed. If you succeed once, I'll die. Death will end it. I will not undergo such torture again. Saying so, Ma Hongyun could not stay awake anymore. His eyes revolved backwards as he fainted. Chapter 12:12. Burning Soul Bursting Luck. Chirp chirp. A yellow-haired female monkey pranced around, running towards Fang Yuan with nimble steps. The yellow-haired monkey stood in front of Fang Yuan, offering its peach to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan received it wordlessly, before tossing it below the tree. The female monkey was shocked. It waved its arms as it jumped around Fang Yuan. It yelled and caused the branch that Fang Yuan was standing on to shake. The leaves were rustling as some fell to the ground. Fang Yuan covered his face with his hands, sighing as he lowered his head. The female monkey approached Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan kicked, sending the monkey down the tree. The female monkey fell off the tree. It gritted its teeth in pain, looking at Fang Yuan on the tree. The attraction in its eyes turned into fear. It quickly escaped while limping. Fang Yuan's appearance now had changed. His entire figure had turned from a human to a male monkey. Precisely so, he attracted the affection of that female monkey. This was the peak of a nameless mountain. Fang Yuan came here, disguised as a monkey. He had been here for half a month already. He concealed his identity. His focus was on observing the Super GU formation. That's right, in front of him was the Super Dream Realm. Unfortunately, the giant dream realm was completely concealed by the Righteous Path's GU formation. With the naked eye, one could only see the scene of a verdant green mountain. Even if Fang Yuan used his methods, he could only see past the surface. The inside of the GU formation was still very blurry. Unfortunately, my strongest investigative method is 3 breaths future vision. It cannot deal with this Super GU formation. There must be many immortal GU inside this Super GU formation. The one who arranged this GU formation is Kai Clan's first Supreme Elder, Kai Kuyu. This person is a Formation Path Great Grand Master. The strongest immortal GU formation he has ever made is called 329 Pool Formation. His Kai Clan descendant GU Immortals had used this formation during the 5 regions chaotic war and killed many Central Continent GU Immortals. This formation was made during Kai Kuyu's later years. He is still far from dying now. But maybe I can deduce it from this Super GU formation in front of me. It has the style of 329 Pool Formation, formations inside formations, overlapping in layers. Right now this GU formation has only used a portion of its power. It has not even activated Immortal GU. After all, that would consume Immortal Essence. Even so, with my observations these last days, just I alone cannot destroy a GU formation of this level. Not to mention that inside, there are at least 13 Righteous Path GU Immortals. There were 13 super forces in Southern Border's Righteous Path. The Super GU formation here was made through everyone's efforts. To defend their own interests, each clan had sent at least 1 GU Immortal to defend it. These GU Immortals were elites of their own clans, otherwise, they would not be able to control the situation. The defense is too tight. If I want to get in, and use Unravel Dream, forcing my way through is impossible. I need to plan wisely. Fang Yuan shook his head internally. But what plan should he use? Fang Yuan did not know. There were no clear options. Because this problem involved the entire Southern Border Righteous Path. These Righteous Path forces had worked together, they were united, their distribution of benefits was also very reasonable. Fang Yuan was all alone. Even though he had rank 7 cultivation level, against such a huge force, there was nothing he could do. These Righteous Path forces could stay in power until today and dominate most of Southern Border's cultivation resources. There was a good reason for it. Like before, Fang Yuan attempted to disrupt Northern Plains. In the end, the Righteous Path forces and Chu Du resisted him. Fang Yuan had been reborn, but because of heaven's will, the advantage of his rebirth was quite small. Most crucially, this giant dream realm also had GU formations that were not used in his previous life. Thus, Fang Yuan's understanding of it was minimal. What should I do? Fang Yuan was troubled. Bai Ningbing, who was inside Bai Shang Grotto Heaven, stared at the land spirit with an equally troubled feeling. I broke through the 30 halls and cut down all my obstacles. I finally met you, but you refused to acknowledge me as your master. Bai Ningbing stared at Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit. He had an icy expression. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit was an old man. He smoked his cigar as he sat on the steps. He looked at Bai Ningbing and breathed in deeply, before puffing out deeply. Oh, young people these days, they are so hasty. When you came here, I said that if you get through the 30 halls, I will meet you. I did not say that I will acknowledge you as master. Getting here just means that you have the initial qualifications to accept the following test. What is the following test? Bai Ningbing asked coldly. Bring back an immortal material. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit looked at Bai Ningbing, chuckling with a creepy look. What immortal material, where? Bai Ningbing asked. Do you see that hole at the top of the hall? Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit pointed up and said. I saw it the moment I came here, it is too eye-catching. Bai Ningbing said plainly. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit sighed again. The greatest use of this immortal GU house, 30 heavenly halls, is to store large amounts of immortal materials. But a few thousand years ago, one immortal material at the highest layer broke through the ceiling and flew away. What? Bai Ningbing was surprised. Don't look so shocked, young man, this world is huge beyond your imagination. The profundities of all life forms, you will encounter it in the future, and feel for yourself the grandness of heaven and earth. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit sighed. Stop prattling, get to the point. Bai Ningbing interrupted mercilessly. Oh, youngster, you have no patience, listening to an old man's words is good for you. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit sighed. Bai Ningbing was silent, only staring at Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit with his blue eyes. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit smoked another puff as he said, all right, I'll tell you. I want you to subdue that flame. It is hidden deep in the sea to the west. Normally, you cannot find it because it can fuse with seawater completely, but once in a while, it will float to the surface and frolic around. That is your best chance to catch it. Bai Ningbing followed Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit's guidance, arriving at the western coastline. The sea was wide and vast, there were many waves on the surface, it was a magnificent sight. Bai Ningbing had hidden here for more than 10 days, he finally found the chance that Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit had mentioned. Swish swish swish. Countless waves appeared on the surface of the sea, causing tides that were more than 100 feet tall to form. The calm and silent sea had at this moment turned into a roaring brute. The sea was fierce and magnificent. Bai Ningbing, who was witnessing this for the first time, had deep emotions seeing it. Next, he flew to the sky, seeing that immortal material which Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit was talking about. It was a small lump of flames. The flames were orange-yellow, round and the size of an adult's fist. It burned and emitted light, it formed into the shape of a flying dragon as the orange flames continued to fly around randomly. Bai Ningbing, who was usually expressionless, showed shock on his face. Light of Tao marks, and so lively, this is a rank 9 immortal material. Rank 9 immortal materials were extremely rare. They were special materials in the world that could refine rank 9 immortal GU. Bai Ningbing did not expect that Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit was asking him to retrieve a rank 9 immortal material. This was out of his capabilities. Bai Ningbing had to take a risk and use the immortal GU inside him to activate a special method, communicating with Ying Wuxie outside. Didn't I tell you not to contact me? If Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit finds out, it will be troublesome. Ying Wuxie said. I encountered trouble, I need to retrieve a rank 9 immortal material, it is a lump of orange-yellow flames. Hearing Bai Ningbing's thorough description, Ying Wuxie's expression changed. You say that the light from its Tao marks resemble flying dragons. The surrounding seawater is rushing outwards, as if it is afraid of this fire. That is indeed so. Around the fire, there is a huge empty space without any water in it. I can see the water level at the bottom of this, the empty space is still continuing to expand. Bai Ningbing added. Ying Wuxie's expression changed again, his answer this time was a little shaky. You must have read less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than, recorded inside were the 3 unique flames of heaven, earth, and human respectively. This is the human flame, raging wave rising dragon fire. Raging wave rising dragon fire. Bai Ningbing heard this answer and became tongue-tied. After a short pause, Bai Ningbing asked, "Then what should I do?" Ying Wuxie sighed. "It is very hard. With your cultivation level, there is almost no hope in subduing wild flames. However, this flame is not wild, it was once subdued by Bai Shang, there is some chance. I have 3 methods for you, you can try them all." "How big are my chances?" Bai Ningbing asked. Ying Wuxie smiled bitterly. "I am not sure, they all have a possibility of success, but the chances are slim, it will depend on your luck." Both of them conversed in a short time. In order to avoid getting caught, Ying Wuxie was the first to cut the connection. Ying Wuxie was not optimistic, his thoughts were shrouded in darkness. "The human flame among the 3 flames of heaven, earth and human, I am afraid only my main body after revival can have high hopes in succeeding. It seems that I need to help Bai Ningbing, if he fails, it will be troublesome for my future plans." Ying Wuxie decided to do something. Even though he was far away from Bai Ningbing, the latter was in Bai Shang Grotto Heaven and was under the surveillance of Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit. Ying Wuxie had many methods to help Bai Ningbing. First, there was luck. Ying Wuxie's immortal killer move, Burning Soul Bursting Luck. He used this killer move again. The last time he used it was in the Super GU formation inside Central Continent's Earth Abyss. Back then, Ying Wuxie planned to refine fixed immortal travel, he burned his own soul to raise his luck sharply. Eventually, his GU refinement still failed. But this was because Heavenly Court had already refined fixed immortal travel before him. Immortal GU were unique, even if his luck was overwhelming, Ying Wuxie could not refine a second fixed immortal travel in this world. Before Bai Ningbing set off, Ying Wuxie had already used Connect Luck Immortal GU to tie their luck together. Right now, Bai Ningbing was trying to subdue the rank 9 immortal material Raging Wave Rising Dragon Fire. He could not avoid this, Ying Wuxie could only use luck to help Bai Ningbing. On the other hand, near the giant dream realm. Oh, something's happening. Fang Yuan, who had turned into a monkey, quickly hid behind the branches. 2 GU immortals appeared, standing below the tree Fang Yuan was in. The peach that Fang Yuan had thrown out earlier was by the feet of a GU immortal. "Brother Luo, thank you for this," a GU immortal said. "I can bring you in, but if anything happens and you get discovered, it has nothing to do with me." The other GU immortal replied. Chapter 12-13, Immortal Opportunity Business. What? Hearing the conversation of the 2 GU immortals, Fang Yuan's ears stood up. He jumped out of the tree, landing above the 2 GU immortals as he hung himself on the branch. It was a normal reaction for the type of monkey that Fang Yuan had transformed into to behave curiously like this. The 2 GU immortals did not even raise their heads. But Fang Yuan was well aware that these 2 GU immortals had already activated their investigative methods. They also found Fang Yuan. But Fang Yuan's familiar face was a rank 8 immortal killer move, it was beyond their methods. The 2 immortals had no suspicions, they continued talking. One of them said, "Brother Luo, don't worry, I also gained interest after hearing Lady White Rabbit's words. I want to interact with the rumored dream realm, and test the opportunity for myself. Even though I, Zhao Lazy, am a mere lone cultivator, I hold my promises. Since I promised you and made an information path agreement, I would not do something out of line. Precisely because of your reputation, Zhao Lazy, us brothers agreed to meet you. Otherwise, you would not even see our shadows. Follow me, when you enter the formation, say that you are a member of Luo clan, and are here to bring an immortal GU to my brother." The Luo clan GU immortal walked as he explained. At the side, lone cultivator Zhao Lazy was following after him, listening attentively. Fang Yuan sat on the branch as he watched them leave, he even followed them, brazenly jumping from tree to tree. Only after the 2 GU immortals vanished did he stop moving, he looked around, screeching in confusion. His disguise was extremely convincing, displaying the might of a transformation path grandmaster. From start to finish, these 2 GU immortals had no suspicions. Interesting. Fang Yuan went back to the trees, his eyes bright as excitement rose in him. He had accidentally encountered 2 GU immortals' secret deal. These 2 had coincidentally chosen this mountain peak to meet, and right in front of Fang Yuan as well. This luck was amazing. Hearing their conversation, evidently, a Righteous Path GU immortal who was part of the defensive GU formation had gone ahead and done a secret deal with the lone cultivator GU immortal, Zhao Lazy. The Righteous Path GU immortal led the way for Zhao Lazy, letting him enter the defensive GU formation and find his own opportunity. Fang Yuan scoffed at Zhao Lazy's idea. "You really think the dream realm is this easy to interact with opportunity? Without specialized dream path methods, what opportunities can there be? And that righteous path Gu Immortal called himself Luo, he must be from the super force Luo clan. Southern Border's righteous path had 13 super forces, they had their respective territories in the entire region, Luo clan was one of them. Can I use this chance to get into the defensive Gu formation and interact with the dream realm? Unavoidably, Fang Yuan had such a thought. He took a final glance at the formation before leaving. The monkey that Fang Yuan had turned into jumped from tree to tree, climbing mountain cliffs, and continuing to travel. After half a day, he finally left the original mountain. Continuing on and getting past some mountain peaks, Fang Yuan got rid of his transformation and returned to normal. He had a vigilant nature, if he used an immortal killer move close to the super Gu formation, he might draw the attention and wariness of the righteous path Gu immortals. This distance should be safe. Fang Yuan estimated internally. He was not certain, because he had no understanding of this super Gu formation. However, even if the righteous path Gu immortals found his traces, there were no issues. I do not believe that after the righteous path super forces made this super Gu formation, the demonic path and lone immortals did not come to probe it. Fang Yuan guessed correctly. The battle of Yitian Mountain was like a ball of lightning, from the calm lake that was Southern Border's Gu immortal world, it caused a massive tide that has risen with ferocity. The battle of Yitian Mountain, it involved the immortal Gu House graceful chaotic duel stage, all the major forces in Southern Border and countless Gu immortals paid attention to it. Later on, the righteous demonic battle also affected the whole of Southern Border's Gu immortal world. But eventually, that huge battle at Yitian Mountain destroyed everything, all of the Gu immortals that were involved died. And in place of them at Yitian Mountain, there was a gigantic dream realm that manifested out of nowhere. This made the Southern Border Gu immortals unable to even investigate Yitian Mountain. The parties involved, Shadow Sect, Heavenly Court, and Fang Yuan, were keeping very quiet about it. These Southern Border Gu immortals were all kept in the dark. Ever since the righteous path went ahead to encircle the giant dream realm, and created this super Gu formation, the demonic path and lone immortals were very unwilling to give in, many of them wanted to investigate this Gu formation. The righteous path Gu immortals often found traces of these people, but as long as they did not charge into the Gu formation, they turned a blind eye. Fang Yuan chose an ordinary mountain cave and stayed for a few days. He waited for Zhao Lazy to leave the defensive Gu formation. Zhao Lazy's movement was not concealed, he left on the same way as he went in. Since Zhao Lazy disguised as a Luo clan Gu immortal, when he left, he had to be open and nonchalant, otherwise, it would be suspicious. Fang Yuan stared fixedly at Zhao Lazy, seeing him fly away, Fang Yuan followed after him closely. The two flew for a while, Zhao Lazy's speed suddenly slowed down, he stopped at the peak of a nameless mountain. He turned around and looked at Fang Yuan. "Friend, you have been following me for so long, is anything the matter?" Zhao Lazy did not have a confrontational attitude. Because Fang Yuan had purposely revealed his traces to Zhao Lazy when following him. He also used attitude Gu to express his goodwill, Zhao Lazy could sense it. Zhao Lazy thus did not speak to Fang Yuan in a bad tone, but he was still very guarded. "I am truly sorry for troubling you." Fang Yuan greeted as he expressed his intention politely. Zhao Lazy heard Fang Yuan's following words and his expression soothed. The reason was, Fang Yuan called himself a wandering lone cultivator, he was curious about the dream realm. But he had heard that Zhao Lazy had a way to bribe the righteous path Gu immortals and get inside the defensive Gu formation, to personally interact with the dream realm, he wanted to see if he could find any opportunities. Fang Yuan thus waited outside for a long time, only following Zhao Lazy after he came out. "So news have already spread, even an outsider like you has obtained information about it." Zhao Lazy was not suspicious, he smiled helplessly. "Come with me, it is normal that you want to enter the dream realm to find your immortal opportunity. However, I am not a key middleman, I will bring you to Lady White Rabbit." Zhao Lazy was very enthusiastic. He might not know Fang Yuan, but his Southern Border Gu immortal aura could not be false. Furthermore, Southern Border was the region with the most secluded cultivators in the 5 regions. This was Southern Border's trait, many Gu immortals would not be known by people from the time of their ascension until their death. With less than a day's journey, Fang Yuan met with Lady White Rabbit thanks to Zhao Lazy. This female Gu immortal had the appearance of a woman in her 20s, her eyes were red like rubies, she had a cute round face and shiny big eyes. Her lips were lush, she spoke very quickly, words came out of her mouth like firing a Gatling gun. The scene of meeting with Lady White Rabbit made Fang Yuan quite surprised. Because this Lady White Rabbit directly placed a mortal GU house at a mountain peak, many demonic path and lone immortals were entering and exiting this house. We only do dream realm business here, you came to the right place. If you want to enter the dream realm, I have many reliable ways, it will depend on what price you can pay. The bigger the price you pay, the faster you can enter the dream realm, perhaps you might be able to find your own immortal opportunity. Lady White Rabbit said this as she pointed her thumb at the wall behind her while facing Fang Yuan. There were all sorts of small boards there, people's names were written there. There are 5 more people in queue. Zhao Lazy saw this and sighed. You must know the importance of the immortal opportunity. Lady White Rabbit stared at Fang Yuan as she spoke, listing many examples in history before she added, the prophecy of 3 venerables, you must know about it. Dream realm, this is the immortal opportunity that concerns Great Dream Immortal Venerable. Think about it, if you can become Great Dream Immortal Venerable in the future, what would happen? Even if you only get one small opportunity, your situation will change. If you do not try this, how would you know if you are able to succeed? That's right, even if you know you cannot succeed, you can ensure that you have no regrets in the future. Zhao Lazy added at the side, a precious dream realm that even the righteous path GU immortals are coveting, it is so rare that we can have this chance. That's right, now is just the start. Thus, the righteous path is not very strict yet. Lady White Rabbit continued, purposely telling Fang Yuan, after a while, it will be different. This business will not last long, the opportunity will depend on whether you can grab hold of it. What price do I have to pay? Fang Yuan pretended to hesitate. Lady White Rabbit said a sum. Fang Yuan showed a look of hesitation, I will consider it first. Of course, consider it well. Lady White Rabbit smiled, her attitude was still very polite. At this time, a female GU immortal came to the counter. Lady White Rabbit's smile became more sincere, she disregarded Fang Yuan as she went over. Sister Miao Yin, you are here to try to find an opportunity again. That female GU immortal nodded, saying, I feel that if I change to another location and enter the dream realm, I will have different gains. There were many GU immortals inside the mortal GU house. Lady White Rabbit was not the only intermediary. From time to time, new boards were hung on the wall. Fang Yuan walked out of the mortal GU house, saying goodbye to Zhao Lazy. You can consider this again, but in my opinion, you should decide it as soon as possible. It cannot be dragged out. You can see the situation for yourself, the longer you think, the longer the queue of GU immortals become, there is no time to waste. Zhao Lazy said before leaving. Fang Yuan expressed his gratitude as he left. Well, has he not made up his mind yet? Lady White Rabbit finished attending to her sister Miao Yin as she asked Zhao Lazy. He said he needs to think about it. Sigh, I thought that I could earn a sum of recommendation fees to replenish my losses. Zhao Lazy smiled bitterly. Zhao Lazy, you are so affluent, why are you acting poor to me? Lady White Rabbit laughed. However, this person that you brought is likely a wandering secluded cultivator, he is poor and does not have resources, otherwise, why would he leave? Those with some funds would at least stay and interact for a while before leaving. Zhao Lazy laughed bitterly, how am I affluent? I thank Lady White Rabbit for the praise. To speak the truth, this price is really expensive, even I feel great loss. Lady White Rabbit smiled, showing her pearly white teeth. This business relies on both parties' wishes, it is pricey because it is worth the cost, this is an opportunity involving Great Dream Immortal Venerable after all, right? Zhao Lazy nodded, making up his mind, saying, I will pay a sum of resources, I want to try again. Chapter 12:14, Situation of Southern Border. Looking at the clouds in the sky, Fang Yuan's expression was dark. He thought about the scene earlier. Out of his expectations, that immortal opportunity business, as it was known, of the dream realm was extremely popular. The involvement was far bigger than he had predicted earlier. Looking at the situation inside the mortal GU house and Lady White Rabbit's tone, evidently, whether they were demonic path or lone cultivators, as long as they could pay the price, anyone could enter the righteous path's defensive GU formation and interact with the dream realm. This is slightly above my expectations, but thinking about it, I understand why. Dream Path. At this time period, it was very empty. Even though many super forces were researching on it, their gains were little. Fang Yuan had the killer move Unravel Dream, he was a leading figure in the current 5 regions. Of course, Ying Wu Xia's lead soul into Dream was also very unique, it was an ability that surpassed the current era. Lead Soul into Dream had displayed incredible might during the Battle of Yitian Mountain, the Heavenly Court GU Immortals had suffered due to it. And Fang Yuan's killer move, unravel dream, also gave him great gains, and immense profits. The righteous path GU immortals might have encircled this dream realm, but they have no way of excavating the treasures inside. In fact, a while later, they lost many members, among which were rank 7 GU immortal experts holding great authority. Luo clan even lost their third supreme elder. Such information could not be hidden, it was widely spread in the southern border GU immortal world. Feng Yuan could easily obtain this information. The righteous path suffered a lot, they know the power of the dream realm, it is not possible to explore it randomly, so they used this method to scam the demonic path and loan cultivators resources. And if any accidents happen, they would not need to waste any of their members to deal a huge blow to these non-righteous members. It is truly killing two birds with one stone. To be able to make this immortal opportunity business so popular and at such a huge scale but still have the ability to remain intact, evidently, the righteous path have come to a consensus. Lady White Rabbit's mortal GU house is backed by Southern Border's righteous path GU immortals. One clan is not enough, there are at least 6 or 7 clans working together to result in this fearless stance. Feng Yuan was an old schemer, because of the experiences in the 500 years of his previous life, he could clearly deduce all of the details regarding this immortal opportunity business. This way, even though he could use this method to enter the righteous path defensive GU formation, and interact with the dream realm, he could not satisfy his own needs. What were Feng Yuan's needs? Firstly, he needed time and opportunity to interact with the giant dream realm for an extended period of time. Secondly, he needed an identity to protect himself, even if anything happened to the dream realm, he could continue staying there. Just 1 or 2 trips into the dream realm, what could Feng Yuan get? Just the cost involved was extremely high. But the prophecy of 3 venerables had deeply affected everyone, countless GU immortals were still going ahead with it. The righteous path GU immortals had already tasted suffering, by the time these demonic path and lone immortals realized the futility, their enthusiasm would fade. Furthermore, even if Feng Yuan did this and unraveled the dream realm, gaining an increase in his attainment level, it would trigger a change in the dream realm. At least, the dream realm would shrink by an amount. If other righteous path GU immortals realized this situation, what would they do? By then, Feng Yuan would be inside the GU formation, like fish on the chopping block. Even with the upper extreme heavenly eagle, Feng Yuan had no heavenly crystals to feed it. If I cannot do this, what should I try? Kill a righteous path GU immortal and use familiar face to disguise myself before going inside. Feng Yuan thought about this, he shook his head, discarding this unrealistic idea. Firstly, GU immortals from righteous path forces would use methods like Life Tablet GU, Soul Lantern GU or Blood Rope GU. These methods allowed their clans to easily inspect if the GU immortal was dead or alive. Furthermore, they could use these Life Tablet GU, Soul Lantern GU, or Blood Rope GU to deduce the exact location of these GU immortals with great ease. Once Feng Yuan kills these GU immortals, the clan would react immediately. Unless Feng Yuan had information path methods that could deceive these GU worms. Feng Yuan had always been weak in terms of information path. Furthermore, familiar face might be a rank 8 killer move, but it was not flawless. For example, back in Eastern Sea, Ying Wuxie could use Luck Inspection Immortal GU to find out Feng Yuan's identity. Finally, once a long time passes, even if Feng Yuan used familiar face, lots of minute details or habits of the GU immortal would slowly become flaws that allow others to realize a problem. Thus, killing someone and replacing them was not feasible. Feng Yuan thought from all angles, he could not think of any good ideas. Even if Feng Yuan had rank 8 battle strength and attacked the GU formation forcefully, he might not be able to succeed. Even if he broke the GU formation, there were still many rank 8 GU immortals in southern border. By that time, when rank 8 enemies encircle him, Feng Yuan would be able to explore any dream realms. He could not find a solution, Feng Yuan was quite helpless. He thought about it and returned to the mortal GU house. Lady White Rabbit's eyes shone, she greeted Feng Yuan, "Have you considered it? You want to find your own immortal opportunity?" Feng Yuan smiled bitterly. "Fairy White Rabbit, I am but a secluded wanderer, I have not interacted much with the outside world, this price will cost me almost all my assets, I need to consider it. I am here this time to get some information from you, and understand matters in southern borders GU immortal world." Feng Yuan said this as he handed Fairy White Rabbit a rank 6 immortal material. Fairy White Rabbit was slightly surprised, even though this immortal material was very common, Feng Yuan's request was not hard. These days, she had been managing this business, she interacted with all sorts of GU Immortals, she had a good understanding of the GU Immortal world's current situation. Let's talk using this. Fairy White Rabbit gave Fang Yuan an information path Mortal GU. Super Dream Realm, Righteous Path GU Formation. We meet again, Fairy Miao Yin, do you remember me? A Chao Clan GU Immortal led a female GU Immortal as they entered the GU formation. Even though he was a Righteous Path GU Immortal, he had a fawning tone. Because this Fairy Miao Yin, although from the demonic path, was extremely beautiful, she inherited a predecessor's blessed land and was extremely affluent, she was publicly known as one of the 3 great fairies in Southern Borders GU Immortal world. The two entered the GU formation, this was seen by the 2 Righteous Path GU Immortals at the center of the GU formation. These people are becoming more daring. They used to come once every 7 days, but now, they come every 1 or 2 days, bringing all sorts of people in here. The 2 GU Immortals from Luo clan are still fine, they bring in people with good reputations and clean records. But Chao clan's GU Immortals have no restraints, they are very greedy. This Miao Yin is a demonic path member. In the past, she had destroyed 2 important resource points of my Ba clan, and even injured 4 Ba clan GU Immortals who chased her. GU Immortal Ba Quan Feng said angrily. Beside him was another Ba clan GU Immortal. This person was very tall, nearly 3 meters, he had an old-fashioned appearance, his beard and hair were connected, his dark green beard hung down to his waist, while his jade green hair extended to the back of his waist. He had a large mouth and broad nose, his eyes were covered by a black cloth, covering them completely. He had a strong body with broad shoulders and chest, his skin that was not covered looked like 1,000-year-old tree bark, there was even green moss growing on it. He was thousands of years old, his cultivation level was stuck at the final step before reaching rank 8. He had rank 7 peak battle strength, publicly recognized in Southern Borders GU Immortal world as the #1 person under rank 8, Old Treeman Bada. Bada spoke slowly. Little Feng, don't be anxious. Even though Chao clan is weak, at the bottom of the Righteous Path forces, they are backed by Wu clan. Chao clan and Wu clan have been linked by alliance marriages for tens of thousands of years. Ba Quan Feng heard about Wu clan and the anger on his face faded, but he still continued. Chao clan is a Righteous Path force, but for the last few thousand years, they have been at Wu clan's beck and call, they are just a dog raised by Wu clan. This Wu clan is too overbearing. With 2 rank 8 GU Immortals in the clan, they act fearlessly. This time, they actually cooperated with 6 other clans, using this dream realm to make their immortal opportunity business. What do they think of the remaining 6 clans not involved, us included? This super GU formation was made by all of us, we created it with all of our immortal GU. He. Bada laughed. Little Feng, you are thinking that everyone should have a part of the profits. Ba Quan Feng's thoughts were exposed, his face turned red. I could not hide it from you, Lord. Bada shook his head. Wu clan's actions will attract even more clans to join in. After all, we have already realized that now is not the time to explore the dream realm. This method can give us greater profits, it is good for us. But our Ba clan cannot join in. Ah, why is that? Ba Quan Feng asked quickly. There are advantages and disadvantages in this. Even though they gain many cultivation resources, we gain a hold on them in return. With enough evidence, in the future when we argue over it, my Ba clan will have the advantage. When we split the dream realm, we will get a bigger portion. Little Feng, look forward, the dream realm cannot be explored now, but what about the future? The dream realm is the true treasure. Bada sighed. But, Wu clan is so domineering, they have 2 rank 8 GU Immortals while we only have 1. By then, if they keep a strong stance, we cannot stop them. Ba Quan Feng said angrily. We cannot stop Wu clan, but what about the other clans? Furthermore, Wu clan's first supreme elder is close to dying, Wu clan will soon be in unrest for a long time. With just 1 rank 8 GU Immortal left, can Wu clan still be the #1 Righteous Path force? Bada smiled with deep meaning. Ba Quan Feng stared with wide eyes. So the rumors that Wu clan first supreme elder's lifespan is depleted are not false. Impossible, they are a huge force, how can they not have lifespan GU stocked up? Wu clan's first supreme elder had used other lifespan extension methods when she was young, there were problems left behind. Right now, lifespan GU has no use to her. Bada sighed. With her death, the entire situation in Southern Border will change, by then, we'll see if Wu clan can control the situation, our clans will have a chance to strike. After all these years, Wu clan has occupied too many resources. Chapter 12-15, Wu Clan's conflict. Wu Dushu slowly opened her eyes. A brand new day, she thought to herself. A rank 8 Immortal GU was flying around in this average-sized house. Food Path Immortal GU, Medicine Fragrance. This was a healing Immortal GU, it filled the entire house with a thick fragrance of medicine. But Wu Dushu's own rotting smell was intense, the medicine fragrance could not conceal it. The two smells mixed together, even GU Immortals could not stand it. Another passing day meant one less day left. Wu Dushu knew that she was very close to dying. At this moment, she was lying in her bed, looking at the scene outside her room, her heart was filled with tranquility. Long ago, when she was still a rank 6 GU Immortal, she fell in love with a demonic path GU cultivator and was punished by the clan. She was locked in this house for 15 years. To think that this was her fortuitous encounter. It turned out, inside this house, there was an inheritance of a Wu clan ancestor. Wu Dushu obtained it and cultivated in secret, her strength rose rapidly and drastically. She even used the great expert's blessed land to meet with her lover in secret. Wu clan's GU Immortals did not expect that Wu Dushu was openly breaking the clan rules under their watch. Those were Wu Dushu's happiest years, she was immersed in unparalleled bliss. Back then, she was just a young, beautiful and silly girl, she did not know the vicious nature of people, she could not tell that her lover had ulterior motives. Time passed. Thousands of years later, Wu Dushu returned to this house. She was close to dying, her lifespan was running out, she had days left. This old woman was filled with experience and fatigue, her murky gaze seemed to have crossed thousands of years, back to the past when she spent her happiest times laughing in this house, all of her memories were surfacing in her mind. These memories were forever painted in a rosy light. The windows of the house were opened, a gentle breeze carrying the fragrance of flowers and grass entered her room. A young lady with a beautiful appearance, youthful with eyes clear as water, greatly moving. She was singing in the house, cleaning up the place and doing a lot of mortal chores, yet she was extremely happy and lively. At that time, happiness was so easily obtained. But as she grew older, this simple bliss left her. As for that lover, Wu Dushu's first love, she had already forgotten him. His image was blurry, the pain that he had caused Wu Dushu caused her to grieve terribly, the hatred that tortured her tired soul had faded with the wind. Creak. With a soft sound, the door of the house was opened by someone. Wu Dushu turned her head with difficulty, through the curtains, she saw a familiar figure. She was not surprised, she had allowed this. She was Wu clan's first supreme elder, a person who was in power for thousands of years, without her permission, who could enter this house? You are here, Wu Dushu spoke faintly with much difficulty. But the person who came was very well-mannered, he knelt on the ground and bowed deeply. I am here to meet you, mother. This person was a middle-aged man with an ordinary appearance, he had a strong body and sharp eyebrows, giving him a dark and hazy aura. Wu Dushu spoke. I called you here to tell you something. You have a younger half-brother, he was born in Eastern Sea. I will pass everything in Wu clan to you. And my own inheritance will be left to him, do you understand? The middle-aged man lowered his head until it touched the ground, this child understands. You may leave, Wu Dushu paused for a moment before saying. I will take my leave. The middle-aged GU Immortal said carefully, he slowly got up and moved back a few steps before turning around and leaving the house, softly shutting the doors. He did not dare to even breath loudly, he had an expression of reverence that never changed, only after he left and passed several large mountains, reaching his own Immortal GU house, did his expression change. Mother is muddle-headed, before dying, she actually wants to bring back that illegitimate son. That bastard, can't he stay in Eastern Sea for good? Why must he return and fight with me over the inheritance? The middle-aged GU Immortal flew into a rage. Master, don't be angry, mind your health. A rank 7 GU Immortal with a hunched back quickly urged. The middle-aged GU Immortal kicked him away, roaring, Mother's abilities come from her Wind Path Immortal GU. She wants to hand these Immortal GU to that bastard. Without these Immortal GU, with just my rank 8 cultivation level, what can I do? We would still be bullied by Ba clan, Tai clan, and Shang clan. Saying that she will leave everything in Wu clan to me, HMPH. Why do I want these resources for? I want her rank 8 Immortal GU, I want battle strength. With strength, what can I not get? The middle-aged GU Immortal got angrier as he spoke, he paced around in the Immortal GU house. Master, we could also just finish him off. The rank 7 hunched back GU Immortal walked forward and chopped downwards with his hand. The middle-aged GU Immortal stopped walking. He frowned deeply, turning to ask the rank 7 GU Immortal, you mean to say, That's right, First Supreme Elder only has 2 sons. Other than you, there is only the Eastern Sea illegitimate son. If we kill him, then all of First Supreme Elder's inheritance will be yours, right? The rank 7 hunchback GU Immortal smiled sinisterly. The middle-aged GU Immortal blinked rapidly as sweat appeared on his forehead. No, if mother finds out, I will be finished. Thinking about his mother's methods, even though the middle-aged GU Immortal had rank 8 cultivation level, he could not help but tremble. Forget it, he is only rank 7, what can he do even if he returns? The middle-aged GU Immortal sighed deeply. But the hunchback GU Immortal did not give up, he continued to speak. Oh master, you cannot think like that. He already has rank 7 cultivation level, what will happen when he gets First Supreme Elder's Immortal GU? The middle-aged GU Immortal snorted, regaining some of his defiance. Even if he has rank 8 Immortal GU, his Dalmark accumulation cannot compare to mine. He is not my match. It is a pity regarding those 2 rank 8 Immortal GU, however. Sigh. The hunchback GU Immortal smiled sinisterly. Master, you are just hesitant because you are afraid of failure and causing First Supreme Elder to punish you. Actually, we do not need to act ourselves. Other than us, there is Ba clan, Tai clan, Kai clan, and others, they are all after our clan's status, they want to displace us. As long as we release information about his traveling route, we can lure them to attack. By then, we will benefit from it greatly. The middle-aged GU Immortal heard and his eyes shone, he praised. Good plan, Shu Tuo, you are indeed my greatest aid. When I become First Supreme Elder, I will not mistreat you. Master, it is my job to solve problems for you, it is my honor. The hunchback GU Immortal's eyes were turning red as he choked, holding back a sob. The middle-aged GU Immortal patted Shu Tuo's shoulder, he did not speak, he only showed happiness on his face. Inside the Immortal GU house, both master and servant had a lightened atmosphere. Master, there is no time, should I go prepare now? Yes, go ahead, I am assured if you are handling it. After leaving the Immortal GU house, Shu Tuo's eyes flashed with a sharp and dark light. HMPH, after spending so much effort, I finally managed to convince this Wu Yong. This way, even if I expose information about this illegitimate son, and get hunted down by others, I will be safe under Wu Yong's protection. My true identity will not be exposed. Shu Tuo's true identity was not just simply Wu Yong's servant, the truth was, he was a Ba clan GU Immortal. He was a spy planted into Wu clan, he had the highest authority among the spies. The situation in southern border was very different from northern plains and central continent. Among the righteous path forces in southern border, Wu clan was the domineering one. In history, at their peak, they had 3 rank 8 GU Immortals. And across history, Wu clan always had at least 1 rank 8 GU Immortal to hold the fort in their clan. Wu clan had always been strong. Wu Dushu's life was ending, while Wu Yong was not talented enough, even though he was rank 8, compared to the other righteous path rank 8s, he was not impressive. Wu Dushu's illegitimate son, Wu Yihai, had incredible talent according to some information. Even though he was a lone cultivator in Eastern Sea, he had formidable battle strength, he was quite famous even in Eastern Sea's GU Immortal world. Killing Wu Yihai could not only weaken Wu clan, it can also attack Wu Yong's reputation, and send Wu clan into chaos and suspicion internally. Shu Tuo went with much hope. Some days later, 3 GU Immortals were passing through the Miasma Regional Wall. Young master, we are almost through the Miasma Regional Wall. This is the final hurdle, once we are out of the regional wall, they will have fewer chances to attack us. An elderly GU Immortal said solemnly. Wu Yihai suddenly said, Uncle Zhang, you mean that the following part of the journey is the most dangerous? That's right, the elderly GU Immortal nodded seriously. Another young-looking GU Immortal said, but as long as we get through this, we will be completely free. As long as you can meet your mother, all of the hardship and suffering on this trip would be repaid by hundreds or thousands of times. Hearing about his mother, Wu Yihai had complex emotions. He sighed. Oh, what rewards, I am not thinking about them. I just want to see my birth mother, she was the one who abandoned me, but she also got Uncle Zhang to lead me on the road of cultivation. I want to meet her personally, and for the first and final time, before leaving. I am an Eastern Sea GU Immortal, I became immortal in Eastern Sea. Uncle Zhang smiled. Young master, don't worry, First Supreme Elder had long since thought of this, she prepared everything for you. Even though you became immortal in Eastern Sea, we have an immortal killer move to cleanse your heaven and earth chi, to turn you from an Eastern Sea GU Immortal to a southern border GU Immortal. From now on, you can undergo tribulations in southern border, taking in heaven and earth chi without any problems. Oh, there is such a way. Wu Yihai heard this and became overjoyed. Even though he had some fame in Eastern Sea, he was just a lone cultivator. He knew the pain and weakness of cultivating alone. If he had a super force to rely on, Wu Yihai would be glad about it. He was just thinking about this, when suddenly, dragon breath resembling sword light assaulted his face. Chapter 12:16, Regional Wall Ambush. This dragon breath was extremely sharp. Before it even hit, Wu Yihai already felt like there were needles poking into his face. He was extremely shocked. He had no time to dodge. Clang! With a sharp metallic sound, a small, round and golden shield appeared in front of Wu Yihai at the moment of life and death. The dragon breath made of sword light landed on the golden shield. In the blink of an eye, this shield broke as the remaining power shot towards Wu Yihai's face. But with this golden shield, Wu Yihai gained a precious amount of time to save his own life. He was a renowned rank 7 GU Immortal in Eastern Sea indeed. He called out as he activated his transformation path killer move. Light shone, Wu Yihai vanished on the spot. A huge tortoise appeared in his place. The huge tortoise's 4 limbs, head, and tail were kept inside a shell. The dragon breath landed on the huge tortoise's shell, causing a deep mark to form. What amazing dragon breath! The horned divine tortoise that I transformed into is an ancient desolate beast. It has a tough shell. It is top 10 even among Eastern Sea's ancient desolate beasts. Wu Yihai was very shocked. It seems that the enemy is stronger than all the earlier ambushes. Now, it will depend on Uncle Zhang and Brother Lang. Wu Yihai was a transformation path GU Immortal, but the horned divine tortoise he turned into was huge and had good speed when traveling underwater. On land, it was far slower. Its battle strength also fell by a lot. Wu Yihai was merely using the horned divine tortoise's strong defense. High defense and low offense. Even though Wu Yihai protected his life, he lost all initiative in this battle. He had other methods to turn into other lifeforms as well, but do not forget about the major weakness of transformation path GU Immortals. That was, they could not transform casually. When changing to different forms, time needed to be spent. GU Immortals had to remove the temporary Dao marks on them first before transforming again. Fang Yuan had the sovereign immortal body. That was a special case. Qi Zai had once mistaken that he had obtained reckless savage demon Venerable's true inheritance, which allowed him to casually change forms. Thus, after Wu Yihai became a horned divine tortoise, even though he saved his life, for the short term, he could not counterattack. But Wu Yihai did not panic. He knew that there were 2 rank 7 GU Immortal experts with him. One was Uncle Zhang, the other was Brother Lang. Wu Yihai did not know their full names, but he knew that these 2 were sent by his mother, bodyguards to escort him to southern border. On the previous parts of this journey, these 2 GU Immortals displayed incredible strength. They were reliable and had helped Wu Yihai to get through many hurdles. Wu Yihai placed his hopes in Uncle Zhang and Brother Lang, but Uncle Zhang was spitting out blood. He had to, because his golden shield was broken by that sword-light dragon breath. This was Uncle Zhang's defensive killer move. After it was broken, Uncle Zhang suffered a backlash. He immediately spat out blood. Similar to Wu Yihai, Uncle Zhang was very shocked. Inside this miasma regional wall, all immortal killer moves are weakened by the miasma. This dragon breath penetrated the miasma and broke my defenses. It even left a mark on the horned divine tortoise shell. How strong is that dragon breath? Uncle Zhang was spitting blood. Brother Lang was flying forward. The 2 worked with coordination. This young GU Immortal knew that Uncle Zhang needed to rest after his defensive killer move was broken. He charged fiercely and imposingly. In the blink of an eye, he turned from a human into a lightning flash giant wolf. The lightning flash giant wolf was an ancient desolate beast. It was covered in blue fur. The tips of the fur was all covered in mysterious blue crystals. They gave off weak sparks. Once the lightning flash giant wolf appeared, it brightened up the dark purple miasma in the area. It followed the path formed by the dragon breath, and charging forward. Its 4 limbs moved, its muscles pushed with strength, giving this GU Immortal incredible speed. At the same time, countless strands of lightning resembling snakes appeared on this lightning flash giant wolf's body. The lightning snakes gathered into a stream that shot forward from the lightning flash giant wolf's head. This was the GU Immortal's immortal killer move. Seeing this, Uncle Zhang relaxed his mind. In a few breaths of time, he suppressed his injuries as his body shone in a bright light. In the blink of an eye, he turned into a golden sword-teeth tiger. His size was twice as large as the lightning flash giant wolf. As it turned out, he was also a transformation path GU Immortal. This was Wu Dushu's purposeful arrangement. Because the regional walls of the 5 regions were very special. Between different cultivation paths, there was no difference in terms of passing through them, but if they fought inside, transformation path GU Immortals had an advantage. Inside the regional wall, when GU Immortals used their immortal killer moves, their immortal apertures would shake and they would get injured before even harming the enemy. But if they turned into a fierce beast, fighting with just their physical body, this weakness would be avoided, and they would have a sustainable source of battle strength. Uncle Zhang took a look behind. He knew of the horned divine tortoise's defense. He instructed Wu Yihai before following after the lightning flash giant wolf, charging forward. Soon, Uncle Zhang saw the lightning flash giant wolf running back. Behind the lightning flash giant wolf, there were streams of dragon breath made of sword light shooting towards him. Inside the thick dark purple miasma, dragon roars could be heard. What is going on? Uncle Zhang was shocked. He knew that the brother Lang was very courageous in battle. He would not retreat without a reason. There has to be a reason why he was running. Don't fight, retreat. Brother Lang saw the golden tiger and spoke human words. Uncle Zhang was even more shocked now. Why did Brother Lang want to avoid battle? He was about to ask, when he finally saw the culprit that attacked them. A sword dragon penetrated the dark purple miasma, appearing before them. Many layers of silvery white dragon scales, pale white dragon eyes, a dragon horn that pierced towards the sky, and 4 sharp and dangerous dragon claws, dragon teeth that were shining with sharp light, as well as the aura of many immortal GU in its body. Is this a wild ancient sword dragon? Uncle Zhang opened his eyes wide, unable to believe it. But the truth was right in front of him. He had to accept it. At this moment, he understood why the GU Immortal who usually felt no fear in any situation would retreat so suddenly. Because he encountered a wild ancient sword dragon. This sword dragon did not come from the 5 regions, it lived in either White Heaven or Black Heaven. Why was Uncle Zhang so sure? Because this ancient sword dragon could move freely in the regional wall. Its movements were so fluid, as if it did not feel any resistance or pressure. For GU Immortals, they were differentiated by regions. When they enter regional walls, they would be greatly affected. Only life forms that lived in the ancient White Heaven or Black Heaven would be able to move freely in the 5 regional walls. Uncle Zhang did not hesitate. He turned around and fled. Being unaffected by the regional wall, this advantage was huge. GU Immortals in the regional walls could display only about 50 to 60% of their strength. Even in the outside world, against an ancient sword dragon with multiple wild immortal GU, Uncle Zhang did not have confidence. Not to mention right now, when they were inside a special environment like the regional wall. Why are we so unlucky? So coincidentally, we encountered a wild ancient sword dragon, roaming in the regional wall. I am guessing that this ancient sword dragon is likely to have been lured here by certain GU Immortals to obstruct us. While escaping, Uncle Zhang and Brother Lang conversed. Soon, they met with the horned divine tortoise that Wu Yihai had turned into. Wu Yihai was informed of the situation as well. He quickly transmitted, "Try not to fight with this ancient sword dragon, it might have been lured here, with the purpose of draining our immortal essence and battle strength as we fight it. Then what do we do? Retreat, leave the ancient sword dragon alone and try not to aggravate it, but we also have to display great strength. Wild beasts have little intelligence, but if it knows that the prey is powerful, it will give up." The 3 GU Immortals quickly decided on a plan. Less offense and more defense. They allowed the ancient sword dragon to trail behind them, using its sword-light dragon breath. The 3 GU Immortals retreated. They were on the back foot against the dragon breath, unable to raise their heads. What do we do? This ancient sword dragon seems to be locked onto us. Maybe I aggravated it earlier when I used a lightning path killer move. I have an immortal killer move that can reduce the anger of this fierce beast, but I need to change my killer move. The 3 immortals quickly discussed. They soon decided that Brother Lang and Uncle Zhang would defend while Wu Yihai would change his transformation to appease the ancient sword dragon. Wu Yihai carefully changed back to human form. He hid behind the 2 immortals, using his methods to get rid of the Dao marks on him, before using another transformation. As a wild beast, the ancient sword dragon would have little intelligence. It constantly attacked the huge wolf and golden tiger instead. Uncle Zhang and Brother Lang thus endured the attacks of the ancient sword dragon, defending with much difficulty. They were both injured, but to chase this ancient sword dragon away, they did not use their offensive techniques, to prevent the situation from worsening and falling into their enemy's trap. It is almost ready. My immortal killer move is a. Wu Yihai's joyous tone turned into a shocked gasp. Because he saw that the golden tiger that Uncle Zhang had turned into had its head pierced by an immortal killer move, dying on the spot. Sword path killer move. Dark assassination. It was so sudden, without any warning. Next, that ancient sword dragon burst out with unparalleled speed in an instant, flying forward like a silver bolt of lightning, leaving behind vague silhouettes in the immortal's eyes as it vanished on the spot. Brother Lang was shocked. We fell for their trap. Oh no. He turned around, only to see that Wu Yihai's head was shattered into pieces, his white brain matter was flowing out. His headless corpse was grabbed by the ancient sword dragon, stuffed into its immortal aperture. Chapter 12:17, Cultivation level rises again. Seeing this, the poor Brother Lang's eyes were almost popping out. How can this be? This ancient sword dragon has an immortal aperture, it is not wild, it is a GU Immortal's transformation. This should not be. If it is a transformation path GU Immortal, why is it not affected by the regional wall? Brother Lang screamed crazily in his mind. This went against the common sense of the cultivation world. How could this happen? The ancient sword dragon roared as it charged at him. Blood flowed out of the eyes of the lightning flash giant wolf. Wu Yihai was dead, everything that he did earlier was for nothing. Brother Lang tried to defend himself, in order to save his own life. The ancient sword dragon craftily dodged all of his immortal killer moves, spitting out streams of dragon breath at the lightning flash giant wolf as it flew around it. The lightning flash giant wolf could barely move in the regional wall, like an old man. But the ancient sword dragon was unaffected, it moved smoothly and could retreat and advance with ease, it held the initiative. The lightning flash giant wolf could only take a beating, even if it used immortal killer moves to retaliate, the ancient sword dragon easily dodged them. A moment later, the ancient sword dragon found a flaw and sent dragon breath at the lightning flash giant wolf's stomach. The lightning flash giant wolf's defenses crumbled, its stomach was penetrated, its intestines and blood flowed out of the huge wound that was created. The ancient sword dragon attacked using this chance. Even though the lightning flash giant wolf dodged left and right, it could not resist the attacks of the ancient sword dragon. It fell on the ground with many holes in its body, it turned back to human form and died in a pool of blood at the hands of the ancient sword dragon. The ancient sword dragon quickly cleaned up the battlefield, moving with great familiarity, as if it had gone through this countless times. Soon, Uncle Zhang and Brother Lang's corpses were stuffed into the immortal aperture, before it destroyed the battlefield entirely and flew away. The ancient sword dragon did not turn around and return to southern border, instead, it flew towards the east, going through the Miasma regional wall and Blue Water regional wall to reach Eastern Sea. It searched for a nameless sea area before placing Wu Yihai in it. After the Blessed Land was formed, the entrance was opened, and the ancient sword dragon flew in using the opportunity. Wu Yihai's blessed land was an ocean. The types of lifeforms inside mainly were sea turtles and tortoises, corals, and seagulls. Inside, there were desolate beasts, and even ancient desolate beasts. Like 3 ancient desolate beast horned divine tortoises, a field of ancient desolate plants silent corals, and 6 desolate beast white letter blue feather seagulls. Not long after, the land spirit appeared before the ancient sword dragon. This was a land spirit in the shape of a sea turtle, it gave a rather difficult acknowledgement requirement. The ancient sword dragon could only leave this blessed land temporarily. After returning to the outside world and confirming its safety, the ancient sword dragon turned back to human. Who else could it be but Fang Yuan? As it turned out, he had learned a lot of intelligence about southern border from Lady White Rabbit, he knew about Wu Yihai's matter. This was Wu clan's internal conflict, but it involved Wu Dushu, naturally it escalated into a huge matter. Wu Yihai's route was widely spread, Fang Yuan sensed acutely that this was a major chance. Evidently, Wu Yihai was very suitable for Fang Yuan to disguise as and replace. Firstly, he was Wu Dushu's illegitimate son, he did not have any life tablet GU or soul lantern GU, otherwise, he would not be an illegitimate son but the second young master instead. Thus, when Fang Yuan killed him, there was little chance that Wu clan found out. Secondly, Wu Yihai had always been staying in Eastern Sea, cultivating as a lone cultivator, he had basically zero interaction with Wu clan's GU immortals. Most of Wu clan's GU immortals did not even know what his appearance was, especially the details regarding his habits and the way he spoke, nobody knew about those. Thus, once Fang Yuan used familiar face to disguise as Wu Yihai, for a long period of time, there was little chance of him getting exposed. Wu Yihai's blessed land was not obtained, but Fang Yuan did not panic. He found a deserted island and rested in it. On one hand, he was waiting for Blood Acid Immortal GU to recover, on the other hand, he was trying to modify an immortal killer move, Blood Light Spirit Suppression. Ever since Blood Acid Immortal GU was injured, Fang Yuan had been healing it, paying great attention to it, it had almost recovered fully already. Thus, in a few days, Fang Yuan got back his blood acid immortal GU in perfect condition. But Fang Yuan continued to cultivate, deducing blood light spirit suppression. Finally, he got what he wanted, a simplified version of blood light spirit suppression using blood acid immortal GU as the core. Matters became simpler now. Fang Yuan used the upper extreme heavenly eagle to enter Wu Yihai's blessed land. After getting close to the land spirit, he suppressed it with blood light spirit suppression. Next, because the land spirit had no resistance anymore, Fang Yuan spent a lot of effort to successfully annex this blessed land, making it a part of the sovereign immortal aperture. This allowed his calamities and tribulations to move ahead by a large number. After all, Wu Yihai was a rank 7 GU immortal, he was different from those at rank 6. As for Wu Yihai's sea turtle land spirit, under Fang Yuan's careful preservation, it did not vanish, it entered Fang Yuan's immortal aperture along with the blessed land. But it did not listen to Fang Yuan, it cried all the time. Fang Yuan wanted to get rid of it, but after realizing that it did not have the intention to harm the blessed land, he gave up that idea. Maybe when I fulfill the ownership requirement, I would be able to truly subdue this land spirit. After this matter was settled, Fang Yuan immediately traveled across the regional walls, going back to southern border. Once he entered southern border, he flew straight towards the central region of southern border, placing the immortal apertures of Brother Leng and Uncle Zhang and annexing them after they formed blessed lands. This way, I have already passed one grand tribulation. Fang Yuan inspected, he found that after annexing 3 rank 7 GU immortals blessed lands, his cultivation level rose sharply, he was a rank 7 GU immortal who had passed one grand tribulation already. Rank 7 GU immortals faced an earthly calamity every 10 years, a heavenly tribulation every 50 years, and a grand tribulation every 100 years. After 300 years, after passing 3 grand tribulations, they would become rank 8. But the might of the grand tribulation gets stronger each time, by tens or hundreds of times. Southern border's top rank 7 GU immortal, Old Treeman Bada, is stuck at the final grand tribulation, he does not dare to undergo tribulation. His gains this time were out of Fang Yuan's expectations. Not only did he annex 3 rank 7 blessed lands, it even caused his cultivation level to rise sharply, such cultivation speed was scary even for him. Fang Yuan could not help but gasp at his good luck. Dog shit luck immortal GU, worthy of giant sun immortal Venerable's vital GU. I wonder what will happen when I elevate it to rank 8, how would it compare to fortune rivaling heaven immortal GU? Fang Yuan subconsciously looked above his head, even though he had no luck inspection immortal GU. He did not know that the entire matter went so smoothly largely because of Ying Wuxie, he had used the immortal killer move burning soul bursting luck. Especially when he fought against the 3 GU immortals including Wu Yihai, they actually misunderstood Fang Yuan as a wild ancient sword dragon. One hand, ancient sword dragons truly could be unrestricted by regional walls, they could not help but think of it like that. On the other hand, Fang Yuan had used attitude GU and disguised himself, the 3 GU immortals were just rank 7, they fell for it without realizing. Thus, when fighting, Fang Yuan had an easy time, the 3 GU immortals defended more than they attacked, they chose to take a beating. Later on, Wu Yihai thought the ancient sword dragon had low intelligence and actually spoke, saying that he was going to attempt to change into another form. Hearing this, the 2 immortals naturally relaxed their minds. Fang Yuan saw this massive opportunity and activated the killer move that he had prepared long ago, Dark Assassination, killing Uncle Zhang. Next, he attacked at lightning speed, eliminating Wu Yihai. In the blink of an eye, only Brother Leng was left. At that point, Fang Yuan's victory was assured. In this battle, Fang Yuan gained immensely. The only drawback was, these 3 transformation path GU immortals' immortal apertures had shaken intensely, a lot of resources were lost. There was no helping it, they were attacked many times in the regional walls, it was impressive to have lasted until then. Next, Fang Yuan did not go to Wu Clan immediately. He soul-searched Wu Yihai as he tried to understand his entire life. During this period, Fang Yuan was not cultivating in seclusion, he went to Lady White Rabbit for more intelligence. Wu Yihai's disappearance was known to the whole of southern border. It was unknown if he was alive or dead, Wu Clan chose to remain silent. The forces had their guesses, although they were inclined to believe Wu Yihai was dead, but it was unknown who did it. There were many forces who acted in the dark, most of them were righteous path forces, this matter was known to everyone. These forces were not going to foolishly admit they were the ones who killed Wu Yihai, of course. Regarding this problem, there was a rumor that was entering everyone's ears. That was, the true culprit who murdered Wu Yihai was none other than Wu Clan rank 8 GU Immortal Wu Yang. There were many versions of this rumor, but the central claim was, Wu Yang wanted to take Wu Dushu's inheritance for himself, thus, he went ahead to murder his half-brother. Undeniably, this was a severe blow to Wu Yang. Demonic Path GU Immortals did not care, while it varied from person to person for lone immortals, but Righteous Path GU Immortals placed a lot of emphasis on and treasured their reputations. Wu Yang also chose to remain silent, he did not clarify anything. Interesting. Fang Yuan could feel many hidden undercurrents in this matter. Countless forces and GU Immortals were secretly exerting force, creating this contest that was carefully hidden from view. Wu Dushu was about to die. Wu Yang, who had always lived in his mother's shadow, had rank 8 cultivation level, but his abilities were widely questioned. If I appear at this time, what would happen? Fang Yuan had just thought of this when he felt a cold chill running down his spine. Chapter 12:18. Dushu, Yang. Fang Yuan looked over the situation, he knew that now was not the time for Wu Yihai to show up. Firstly, he had not completely searched Wu Yihai's soul yet, his preparations were not complete. Secondly, Wu Dushu was not dead yet. If Wu Dushu did not die, Fang Yuan could not safely appear as Wu Yihai. Rank 8 GU Immortal. Who knew what methods Wu Dushu had to ascertain if Wu Yihai was her own son? Even though Wu Yihai would lose a lot in this case, Fang Yuan only really wanted the identity of Wu Yihai. That was his original motive. If his disguise failed because of some greed, he would lose this rare opportunity, that was the biggest loss to him, he would slap himself endlessly. Finally, there was danger lurking in all Righteous Path forces, the same went for even Wu Clan. There was no smoke without fire. Wu Yang indeed had the motive and was likely to deal with Wu Yihai. If Fang Yuan appeared too early, he might get killed by Wu Clan secretly. Speaking of which, Wu Yihai's identity is quite troublesome. But thankfully, I have future memories, I know what happened in the 500 years of my previous life, this can help me analyze the situation. Just like this, Fang Yuan continued to cultivate. He continued to soul search Wu Yihai while collecting information about the outside world. Wu Dushu's condition was getting worse every day, the entirety of southern border was in a commotion. Over in northern plains, the blood battle martial competition was still ongoing. Without Lu Guanyi, Chu Du's side was completely suppressed. But soon, the situation changed. Heavenly Lord Baizu personally invited 3 rank 7 lone immortals and they won consecutively, helping Chu Du's side reach a deadlock with the Righteous Path Alliance. Lu Tribe GU Immortal Lu Chong had been announcing that he wanted Lu Guanyi to fight him, otherwise, he was a coward, a chicken and more. Not only was Lu Chong seeking to trouble Fang Yuan, the same went for other forces like Yi Lui Tribe. But Lu Guanyi had vanished without a trace, as if this person had never existed in Northern Plains GU Immortal world. These pursuing forces were bound to fail, but over in Central Continent, many GU Immortals had worse fates. Defy. This underground organization created by Shadow Sect's GU Immortals had been eradicated completely by Heavenly Court's GU Immortals as well as the 10 great ancient sects. Other than that, many of the people on the Demon Judgment Board had been captured, Blood Path demonic immortals were killed, while some other demonic path or lone immortals had less severe crimes, they were taken away by the 10 great ancient sects and turned into slave GU immortals. On a certain day, half a month later, Wu Dushu summoned Wu Yang and several other Wu clan supreme elders to her house. At her dying moments, Wu Dushu spoke with unprecedented clarity. She said, "I have 3 regrets in life. The first regret is that I failed to exterminate the 7 fierce gorge ghosts, I only destroyed their den. The second regret is that I did not manage to find enough dry clear chi to refine 8-faced prestige when GU. The third regret," saying this, Wu Dushu paused, "is that I did not get to see my son Yihai. Back then I hated his father, I killed him, but I should not have placed that hatred and anger on a pure and innocent child, he is blameless. I want to make it up to him, but it is too late." In the house, nobody made a sound, it was silent. Wu Dushu sighed, sitting up on her own. She got into a half-sitting position with much difficulty, leaning on the head of her bed, she waved to Wu Yang weakly. Wu Yang understood her intention, he quickly pulled the curtains apart and stepped forward, getting to Wu Dushu and kneeling down reverently. Wu Dushu looked at her eldest son and smiled after a long time. "Yang you are good, I am not disappointed." Wu Yang's body shuddered, he raised his head, his eyes were red, tears were sprinkling down. At this moment, he was expressing his true emotions, this old woman in front of him was his mother after all. "I am handing Wu clan to you, I can rest assured." Wu Dushu continued to say. Mother. Wu Yong opened his mouth, his voice was hoarse, tears were streaming down his face. Wu Dushu continued. My child Yi Hai was unable to come here, that is fate. Forget it, I will hand these immortal Gu to you. You cultivate wind path as well, I hope you can cherish them and put them to good use. Mother, I don't want your immortal Gu, I just want you to live. Wu Yong sobbed. Silly child, who can avoid dying? Even immortal venerables and demon venerables with immense strength die in the end. Eternal life is but a fantasy of fools. Saying this, Wu Dushu's immortal Gu flew out of her immortal aperture, going towards Wu Yong. The Wu clan supreme elders on the other side of the curtain watched this quietly. The transfer was smooth, aura of immortal Gu faded into Wu Yong's body one by one. Wu Dushu looked outside the window. The sunlight was bright, through the small window, it entered the room. In a daze, Wu Dushu could almost see a figure in the sunlight. That figure was neither her father or mother, it was also not the man who she had once loved in her life, it was herself. That young version of herself, the lady whose smile was as bright as the sun. Wu Dushu, hee hee, Wu Dushu muttered her own name twice, before laughing lightly. Her body began to shine with white light, countless white specks were flying out of her shriveled old body. The specks of light were the dissipation of her soul and body. A moment later, there was nobody left on the bed, the reputable and powerful rank 8 Gu immortal, Wu Dushu, a legendary person who had exerted her influence on southern border for thousands of years, had at this moment vanished from this world. She did not leave behind her body or her soul. First Supreme Elder. Outside the curtain, Wu clan's Supreme Elders cried out with sorrow. Cries filled this small house without any owner. Incredible anguish was vented through crying. Wu Yong cried quietly, he knelt on the ground, lowering his head and not moving, like a statue. Long after, he slowly raised his head, he no longer cried, his expression was as firm as steel. He stood up. Next, he looked at the Wu clan Supreme Elders through the curtain, they were sprawling on the ground, crying painfully without any of their usual demeanor. Everyone, hold in your sadness. Mother is gone, but we have to continue enveloping southern border with Wu clan's glory. Wu Yong's plain tone carried extraordinary authority. The Supreme Elders gradually stopped crying. Wu Yong pulled the curtain aside, walking out. The Supreme Elders had already stood up, they realized something. The atmosphere had become heavy, these Gu Immortal Elders paid their respects towards Wu Yong, they said together, we pay respects to First Supreme Elder. The legend of a generation, Wu Dushu had died, as her son, Wu Yong with rank 8 cultivation level became the next First Supreme Elder of Wu clan. After news got out from Wu clan, it spread through the entire southern border Gu Immortal world at lightning speed. Southern border was in a commotion. Wu Dushu had finally died, many Gu Immortals and forces let out sighs of relief. Wu clan originally had 2 rank 8 Gu Immortals, but now only one was left, could it still remain as the number 1 righteous path force? Wu clan seemed to have too many resource points under its control. Wu Dushu was gone, only Wu Yong, who had insufficient talent and abilities, was left, could he truly lead Wu clan on a path of glory? Not only were the Gu Immortals outside of Wu clan thinking about this, even within Wu clan, many members were doubtful towards the abilities of this new First Supreme Elder. And also the rumors of Wu Yong killing his half-brother Wu Yihai, at this moment, they were spread around fiercely, like the surface of boiling water, bubbles were emerging fiercely. Qingyang Mountain, Chao clan's headquarters were here. 2 Gu Immortals of Chao clan were standing at the peak, looking in Wu clan's direction. The 2 Immortals could see many layers of clouds, mountains winds were blowing and causing their sleeves to flutter. Chao clan's First Supreme Elder sighed. Wu Dushu is dead, Wu Yong has just taken over her position, but he is already plagued by the rumors of killing his brother, this is a good opportunity for our Chao clan. Everyone thinks that we are Wu clan's lackey, but the truth is, we were just trying to survive. With Wu clan's commotion, we can finally have a chance to take action. Compared to other clans, we have better reasons to do this because of our long-term marriage alliances with Wu clan. Wu Yong seems ordinary, but I feel like he is not so simple. Even if he is not talented, he is still a rank 8 Gu Immortal. The other Gu Immortal spoke. She looked like a woman in her 20s, she wore a green dress that could not conceal her alluring body shape. Her skin was white as snow, her eyes were concealed by her long eyelashes, they seemed clear as water. She was Chao clan's pride, a genius that was the hope for the future, as well as one of the 3 great fairies of southern border, Chao Silu. Chao clan's First Supreme Elder laughed. Oh Lu, this is the reason why I asked you to talk to me. We are going to continue our marriage alliance with Wu clan. Chao Silu's body shook. I understand, I am willing to contribute to the clan. Very good, the clan did not raise you in vain. Chao clan's first supreme elder was very glad. But if I marry Wu Yong, I might not be able to control him. He is a rank 8 GU immortal, he even has authority over the entirety of Wu clan. Chao Silu hesitated. Not with him, Chao clan's first supreme elder smiled. Then who else? Chao Silu was visibly confused. Wu Yihai, that's right, he approached us a few days ago. 7 days later, Wu clan held a grand funeral on Divine Wind Mountain. All the righteous path forces, as well as many lone immortal experts, even certain special demonic path GU immortals were invited for the funeral. In front of everyone's eyes, Wu Yong suddenly erupted. Men, take down this traitor of the clan. What? Shu Tuo was shocked, he wanted to resist but it was too late. Master, what are you doing? I am your most loyal and dedicated servant. Shu Tuo screamed loudly. Hee. Wu Yong chuckled, he pointed at Shu Tuo as he shouted. You are a loyal and dedicated servant indeed, Shu Tuo. To think I trusted you so deeply, yet you harmed me, leaking the travel route of my brother, and causing countless fiends to attack him. My poor brother, I have not even met him, but he was already killed by you bunch of evil fiends. Saying this, Wu Yong sighed at the sky, tears flowing down his face. Shu Tuo looked on, dumbfounded. The shock inside him could not be expressed with words. He wanted to deny it, but Wu Yong tossed out a bunch of evidence. The evidence could not be overturned. Shu Tuo had no way of rebutting, he realized now that Wu Yong had found out his identity long ago, he endured all this while, until today. Wu Yong made use of him to exterminate his brother Wu Yihai, and also fully obtaining the inheritance. He became Wu clan's first supreme elder, and shattered all of the rumors regarding him on this very day. Shu Tuo was the sacrificial pawn that he discarded. Today, I will win everything. Wu Yong laughed in his mind, but he pointed at Shu Tuo, ordering, drag him away. The righteous path representatives were uneasy, even those demonic path and lone immortals showed shock on their faces. Wu Yong looked around, feeling extremely satisfied. But just as he was about to speak, Chao clan's first supreme elder stood up. I have good news for Lord Wu Yong. Your brother Wu Yihai did not die, not only did he survive, he has arrived here with the help of my Chao clan. What? Chapter 12-19, Fang Yuan vs Wu Yong. Fang Yuan took large strides, walking out of the group of Chao clan GU immortals. At once, everyone's focus was gathered on him. Fang Yuan instantly became the center of attention. Seeing his face, multiple supreme elders of Wu clan gasped, they are really alike. Fang Yuan's appearance, no, Wu Yihai's appearance, was very similar to his birth mother Wu Dushu. This was an undeniable point, it was Fang Yuan's advantage. Wu Yong was different, he resembled his father, he had complementing eyes and brows, he looked very ordinary, he had a natural unremarkable aura. But Wu Yihai was different. He was handsome and muscular, he stood out from the crowd like a spear stabbing at the sky. Even though he lived in Eastern Sea, his traits were very similar to Wu clan GU immortals, especially his nose, it was wide and tall. At a glance, people could tell that this person was very extraordinary, he had a firm personality and could not be looked down upon. Of course, the reason why Fang Yuan could give off such an impression was highly attributed to his appearance. The real Wu Yihai did not have the traits of a Wu clansman. Rank 8 immortal killer move, familiar face. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's signature method, it was displaying its worth right now. All of these GU immortals were deceived, none of them could tell that Fang Yuan was an imposter. The truth was, even Wu clan's GU immortals were seeing Wu Yihai for the first time. Undoubtedly, Fang Yuan's prior preparation and hard work was rewarded now. When Wu clan's GU immortals looked at him, they held some good feelings towards him. Because Wu Yihai looked like Wu Dushu. Wu Dushu was not beautiful, she had features that suited a man, if she were a male, she would be a grand hero that could rival heaven. Wu Yihai bore 70% resemblance to her. Wu Dushu died, Wu clan was in a commotion, the clan's GU immortals were all in remembrance of Wu Dushu's achievements and glory. After all, humans were like this, they did not feel much attachment towards people when they were still alive, but the moment they were gone, they would want to cherish and appreciate them. Fang Yuan appeared at this juncture, it made good use of the immortal's mental state. Of course, this was part of Fang Yuan's calculations. Alike, they really look alike. Even other clans, GU immortals were sighing. Fang Yuan sensed sharply that the gazes on him were changing slowly. In the 500 years of his previous life, he did not have the achievement of high cultivation level, but he had gone through 500 years of life. He had nurtured an unfathomably deep ability to observe situations and an acute perception towards the changes of emotions in the GU immortals near him. He sensed that the gazes of Wu Clan's GU immortals were welcoming, while Wu Yong's gaze carried animosity in it. Wu Yong was indeed shocked. Fang Yuan had disguised as Wu Yihai and appeared. This greatly affected his plans and arrangements. What made Wu Yong alarmed was that Fang Yuan and Chao Clan's GU immortals were together. He felt a sense of wariness. The truth was, Wu Yong hated this younger brother of his in the deepest part of his heart. Even though both sides were meeting for the first time, Wu Yong did not like Fang Yuan at first sight, because Wu Yihai looked too much like his mother Wu Dushu. So many years, Wu Yong had followed by Wu Dushu's side, growing under her protection. Wu Dushu was a giant tree. The leaves of the tree protected the entirety of Wu Clan, including Wu Yong himself. Wu Yong felt like he was constantly lowering his head. The shade of the tree was a type of shadow that loomed over his life. He was Wu Dushu's son, but do not forget, he was a man. Men naturally sought strength, having an intense desire towards authority. But all along, Wu Yong was under Wu Dushu's shadow. Her strength, her abilities, as well as her identity, Wu Yong could not resist her. He had to lower his head. Wu Dushu passed away. Wu Yong was naturally very upset and grieved, but at the same time, unavoidably, he felt freedom, he felt joy. This joy was something that Wu Yong did not dare to admit he felt. But now, when Wu Yong saw this Wu Yihai who resembled Wu Dushu, he unavoidably felt some feelings of dislike. Fang Yuan sensed Wu Yong's ill intent and animosity, even though he disguised himself well. Fang Yuan knew on the inside. The first step of showing myself succeeded, but the second step of interacting with Wu Clan and getting them to acknowledge me is the crucial one. Being accepted by Wu Clan means getting Wu Yong, this rank 8 GU Immortal, the first supreme elder of Wu Clan's acknowledgement. Thus, when Fang Yuan stepped into the limelight, he bowed deeply towards Wu Yong. Wu Yihai pays respects to elder brother. Wu Yong had an agitated but hesitant expression. Are you really my brother Yihai? Alike, you really look like mother, except that your eyes are blue. We don't usually have that eye color in southern border. That sentence had deep meaning. Wu Yong did not directly acknowledge Fang Yuan's identity. Instead, he pointed out the Eastern CGU immortal identity of Wu Yihai, seemingly unintentionally. Fang Yuan answered solemnly, reporting to brother, I had black eyes before, but some accidents occurred when I cultivated transformation path. Right now, I returned due to mother's arrangement. Unfortunately, I met with many attacks along the way. Uncle Zhang and brother Leng, who traveled with me, died on the battlefield while protecting me as I escaped. Both Zhang and Leng were simply attendants of my mother, but they made great contributions to Wu Clan. Pass my orders, we will give them a grand burial, according to the rules of how we treat external supreme elders. Their descendants will also be taken care of, and be treated as equals in our Wu Clan. Wu Yong instructed. The supreme elders quickly responded. Fang Yuan heard this and snickered internally. This Wu Yong refused to give up any chance to show off his wise image, but hearing his words, he did not accept Fang Yuan's identity. He avoided the important topic, taking about Zhang and Leng and ignoring the important point, his brother Wu Yihai. Wu Yong ignored this part, but Fang Yuan was not helpless. This could not stop him. Fang Yuan bowed as he said, I hope brother can allow me to pay respects to our mother. Wu Yong's brows tightened. Fang Yuan's words were very logical. As a son, his mother had passed away, how could he not pay respects to her? This was an extremely reasonable request, especially in a clan system where bloodline was crucial in maintaining relationships. Even Wu Yong could not stop him. If he said no, outsiders would react badly to it. His new image that had been painstakingly created would be completely ruined. But if he did not refuse Fang Yuan's request, then that would mean that Wu Clan was acknowledging Fang Yuan's identity, that he was a member of Wu Clan. As a matter of fact, Wu Yong did not want that. Wu Yong disliked Wu Yihai's appearance. Wu Yihai's identity was a headache to Wu Yong. Wu Yihai came here with Chao Clan. It was a huge warning to Wu Yong. This Wu Yihai should go back to where he came from. Isn't he an Eastern CGU immortal? Then let him develop in Eastern Sea, even if I have to spend some resources to get him to leave. This was the best result for Wu Yong. In fact, Fang Yuan's performance and the Chao Clan GU Immortal's testament made Wu Yong not suspicious towards Fang Yuan's true identity. Wait, what if I get rid of this Wu Yihai? I could not do it earlier because mother was around. But now, I am first supreme elder, This is my territory. In time, I will gain control of the clan. I can make arrangements in secret and execute him. Wouldn't that end my troubles? Even if he is in Eastern Sea, it is a problem. If he is not in Eastern Sea and stays in southern border, the problem is even bigger. I might as well agree to his current request. Eventually, I can go through some arrangements and demonstrate him to be a fake. I will be able to openly get rid of him. Thinking of this, Wu Yong felt intense killing intent surging in him. He was about to speak, and directly agree to Fang Yuan's request, when suddenly, a supreme elder of Wu clan said, "Pardon me, but is everyone forgetting to confirm second young master Wu Yihai's identity? I am not suspecting him, or suspecting anyone from Chao clan, but for him to come back to the clan, that is a necessary procedure." Wu Yong heard this and his brows tightened again. He looked at the Wu clan Gu Immortal who spoke deeply. It was Wu clan's third supreme elder, Wu Chao. The gazes of Fang Yuan and Chao clan's first supreme elder met secretly. He thought, it was right to contact Chao clan, but I did not think that Chao clan had infiltrated Wu clan so deeply, reaching up to the third supreme elder, Wu Chao. Chao clan's first supreme elder looked at Fang Yuan, thinking about the scene in which they schemed and collaborated. As long as I appear during the funeral, Wu Yong would be in a passive position. Even as a rank 8 Gu Immortal who can easily kill me with his strength, he cannot do anything to me there. He. Fang Yuan laughed as he continued, he will not attack or kill me. Because he is Wu clan's first supreme elder, he is not a lone cultivator or a demonic cultivator. By then, if I request to pay respects to our mother, what can Wu Yong do to stop me? Ha ha ha, brilliant, truly brilliant. Chao clan's first supreme elder gave a thumbs up, privately acknowledging your heritage is too dangerous. If we do this, it is brilliant. Even if Wu Yong disagrees, what can he do? Fang Yuan said seriously, thus, we must undergo the acknowledgement during the funeral. If we miss this chance, it will be difficult. Not only would the risks be higher, Wu Yong would not even give us any opportunity. Don't worry, by then, I will speak up and suggest this. Chao clan's first supreme elder smiled. No. Fang Yuan shook his head. It is unsuitable for you to suggest it. You are an outsider, how can you interfere in Wu clan's business? Chao clan's first supreme elder fell into silence. Fang Yuan's words directly addressed his biggest concern. This was a huge problem he was facing. If this was not solved, he could not cooperate with Wu Yihai. Fang Yuan's arms were behind his back, he raised his head and looked outside the window. Therefore, I need a supreme elder from Wu clan. He can openly suggest this, and steer the situation towards the heritage acknowledgement. Chao clan's first supreme elder was a bit troubled. This. Chapter 1220. Presence in southern border. Fang Yuan continued to say, this supreme elder should have some status, and he needs to have a firm attitude. Because during this period, Wu Yong is likely to side with me, acting as if I am already confirmed to be his brother to deny this suggestion. Thus, the person we choose needs to be able to stand the pressure of a rank 8 Gu Immortal. Chao clan's first supreme elder shrugged. This is too difficult. After all, Wu Yong is not only a rank 8 Gu Immortal, he is also Wu clan's first supreme elder, he inherited Wu Dushu's immortal Gu. Fang Yuan did not even turn around, he still looked outside. His words turned cold and firm. Don't tell me Chao clan does not have such a person. If you don't, why do you have ambitions towards Wu clan? Just give up and sleep, you might have more success in your dreams. I, Wu Yihai, will not cooperate with such a clan. Chao clan's first supreme elder was slightly stunned, he assessed Fang Yuan again. From his angle, he could only see Fang Yuan's side view. Outside the window, the rays of the setting sun shone on Fang Yuan's face, like a layer of blood. Fang Yuan's expression was firm like steel, his blue eyes were brimming with life. This man interesting. As expected of Wu Dushu's son. Chao clan's first supreme elder sighed to himself internally, before agreeing, we will go with your idea. Even though Wu Dushu was dead, at her funeral, there was a peculiar and interesting scene. Wu Dushu's illegitimate son from Eastern Sea, Wu Yihai, had appeared, wanting to pay respects to his mother. All of the Gu Immortals from different forces watched quietly without interfering. After all, these were Wu clan's internal affairs. Among them, many Gu Immortals could see some things beyond the surface. But when Wu clan's third supreme elder, Wu Chao, spoke, multiple gazes landed on him. Wu Chao seemed unfazed, showing an attitude of being impartial and upright. He was Wu clan's third supreme elder. Chao clan could infiltrate Wu clan to this extent, Fang Yuan was shocked. Of course, he was one of the parties involved, he knew more and had clearer judgment. People not in the know, without knowing the reasons behind this, would not be able to tell what Wu Chao's stance was. Was he siding with Wu clan or Chao clan? Even though Wu Yong noticed this possibility, he could not ascertain the facts. Wu Yong spoke. All right, we will hold the acknowledgement of my brother's heritage here at my mother's funeral. I am sure that my mother would be very glad to see this happen. He did not rebuke them, he directly agreed to it. Fang Yuan looked at Wu Yong deeply. This person was not simple. Chao clan's first supreme elder was also slightly surprised by Wu Yong's reaction. His evaluation of Wu Yong rose by a level. Evidently, Wu Yong had noticed that he could not stop Fang Yuan from the acknowledgement of his heritage. If he continued to reject it, he would lose his reputation and image. He might as well agree and allow this matter. All of the immortals here can bear witness to it. Bring the immortal Gu. Third Supreme Elder Wu Chao stood up. He needed to be the host of this event, to prevent Wu Yong and the rest from tampering with it. Soon, Wu clan brought the immortal Gu. Wu Chao stood before Fang Yuan, holding an immortal Gu in his hand, saying, "This is a rank 7 blood path immortal Gu. Bloodline, my Wu clan obtained it from killing a blood path demonic immortal. It is our trophy of victory. It can be used to certify second young master's identity." As he said this, the Gu immortals present internally rolled their eyes. Blood path was not tolerated, it was too dangerous. But the truth was, every righteous path force was secretly researching it. Because blood path could increase one's battle strength the quickest. Evidently, this bloodline immortal Gu was the product of Wu clan's research, but they called it their loot from battle. Second young master, please provide a drop of blood. Wu Chao said. Fang Yuan was tense. It was a rank 7 blood path immortal Gu. This was out of his expectations. A drop of blood was different from examining his body, it was hard to tamper with. Under everyone's supervision, Fang Yuan followed what he said and squeezed out a drop of blood to Wu Chao. Wu Chao used the immortal Gu and aimed towards the blood in his hand, as a dark red light shone. There were no issues. Fang Yuan let out a sigh of relief. Thankfully, blood acid immortal Gu recovered, and I added it into familiar face to disguise my bloodline. Last time, I deceived measures in Hei Fan's true inheritance, while this time, I got past the rank 7 blood path immortal Gu bloodline. Thankfully, it was only rank 7, if it were rank 8, he might not be able to deceive it. Fang Yuan was quite lucky in this aspect. Of course, Wu clan was not going to be so wasteful as to raise a blood path immortal Gu to rank 8. Refining a rank 8 immortal Gu had too high of a cost, it could dry up a super force's assets without assurance of success. But this was not all. Next, Wu Chao asked Fang Yuan many crucial questions. Some of these questions, Fang Yuan knew the answers, while some he did not, he answered honestly. Among the questions, some were traps, events that had never happened were used to trick him. But Fang Yuan had searched Wu Yihai's soul, he could deal with these questions. The true danger was the rank 7 immortal Gu bloodline, he had already passed that, there was little difficulty left. Hundreds of questions were asked, Wu Chao was still expressionless. But the other Wu clan supreme elders nodded, some of them were smiling, looking at Fang Yuan, showing that he had already passed the test. Actually, we also had to inspect your soul and bones, but Lady Wu Dushu has passed away, we will skip that. Wu Chao said, making Fang Yuan feel extremely glad. Thankfully, he was not greedy regarding those rank 8 immortal Gu. If he was questioned by her in person, his soul path and bone path methods were not impressive, there was a high chance of him showing a flaw. I heard that when Wu Dushu died, her body turned into specks of light, none of her body remained. Even her hair and other things left behind had dissipated as well. She really died completely without leaving a trace, it is a good death. Fang Yuan was overjoyed at his luck. Next, Wu Chao reported his findings to Wu Yong. Needless to say, everyone had already seen the result. Wu Yong nodded, while the other Wu clan supreme elders also agreed. Thus, Wu Chao took out Life Tablet Gu and Soul Lantern Gu, asking Fang Yuan to refine them. These Gu worms would be left in Wu clan's ancestral hall, they were the symbol of Fang Yuan's acknowledgement into the clan. After all this, Fang Yuan had finally used Wu Yihai's identity to step into Southern Border's Gu immortal world. After paying respects to Wu Dushu, Fang Yuan cried profusely, showing off a fantastic performance with incredible acting. As it was now Wu Dushu's funeral, Wu clan could not hold a banquet. But after the ceremony ended, Fang Yuan interacted with many Wu clan Gu immortals, even though they only drank tea and talked for a while, Fang Yuan benefited greatly. Of course, Gu immortals asked to spar with Fang Yuan, but he rejected them all. His status was very high now. He had rank 7 cultivation level, he was the brother of Wu clan's first supreme elder, the rank 8 GU immortal Wu Yang. Even though these brothers were of separate minds, on the surface, it seemed that their bloodline bonded them together. 7 days later, the funeral ended, Fang Yuan stood beside the Wu clan GU immortals, sending off the guests who came, like he was an important part of the clan. These southern border GU immortals remembered Fang Yuan well. Many of them listed him as someone they could not trifle with, not because of Fang Yuan's cultivation level, but because he was blood related to Wu Yang. Wu Yihai's name spread in southern border. Even though it could not be said that everyone knew about it, he was not far off. 3 days later, dawn, the sun rose slowly in the sky. Fang Yuan was standing on the peak of Bear Mountain, quietly looking at the beautiful sunrise. After the acknowledgement of his heritage, he was assigned by Wu clan to live on this Bear Mountain. This was not within the blessed land serving as Wu clan's base. Fang Yuan claimed that he wanted to live outside as well. Bear Mountain was a well-known place, there were large numbers of wild beasts on this mountain, all sorts of bears were living here. Wu clan directly gave this mountain to Fang Yuan, from now on, this was Wu Yihai's territory. But Wu clan did not assign Fang Yuan any relevant roles. Wu clan's GU immortals were all supreme elders, Wu Yang was the first supreme elder, followed by the second supreme elder, third supreme elder, and so on. They had different positions, and differing authority and power. In this aspect, Chao clan's first supreme elder was very anxious and concerned about it. Because Chao clan helped Fang Yuan in order to get him to become an authoritative figure among the higher-ups of Wu clan, so that he could contest for Chao clan's benefits. For this purpose, Chao clan needed Fang Yuan to gain more power in Wu clan, that way, he could speak up for Chao clan and make firm decisions. Chao clan's help was not for free, Fang Yuan had already made alliance agreements with Chao clan's first supreme elder secretly. But Fang Yuan was not in a rush. He pretended to look at the sunrise, but he was actually thinking about the giant dream realm. He had already obtained his righteous path identity, how could he enter the Super GU formation openly now, and use the giant dream realm to raise his attainment level? Fang Yuan was thinking of this problem, when an information path immortal GU flew towards him, bringing Wu Yang's summons. Right now, Fang Yuan had perfectly assimilated into the clan, the process was seen by countless GU immortals in southern border, Wu Yang could not harm his life anymore. The ship had set sail, it was far too late now. Especially when he was inside Wu clan's territory, Wu Yang needed to protect this, younger brother, of his. Fang Yuan followed the instructions of the information path immortal GU and met with Wu Yang in a hall. Wu Yang said, "You are my younger brother, you have just returned to the clan. According to our clan rules, every newly advanced rank 6 GU immortal may pick a rank 6 immortal GU. After becoming rank 7, they may pick a rank 7 immortal GU. Bring along this information path immortal GU with you and go to the clan's treasury to choose your 2 immortal GU.